Hey everybody, we are debating Flat Earth, and we are starting right now with our opening statement from IGER Television. The floor is all yours, IGER Television.
All right, can you guys see that video?
Yes.
Everything we know about the universe, what we're made of, galaxies, stars, planets, that's all right here. So, according to this chart, we are 96% stupid.
So the problem with cosmology is that we keep inventing theories, ad hoc theories, to try to explain the data, such as inflation, dark matter, dark energy, and so on, just to keep patching the theory up.
There is a crisis in cosmology. Usually in science, if we're off by a factor of 2 or a factor of 10, we call that horrible. We say something's wrong with the theory. We're off by a factor of 10. However, in cosmology, we're off by a factor of 10 to the 120. That is 1 with 120 zeros after it. This is the largest mismatch between theory and experiment in the history of science.
What is gravity?
You have no idea. Okay, next question.
I don't know. Nobody in the entire world knows why that falls.
So what is pushing this?
Here. Why does that fall?
Newton didn't know.
We can describe it pretty accurately. But no one knows why.
We can describe gravity. We can say what it does to other things. We can measure it, predict with it.
I don't need a computer to get a kid interested in that, to spend a week playing with gravity and trying to understand it and come up with reasons why.
So what is pushing this?
Nobody knows why.
So Newton simply threw his hands up and said, I don't know. So I'm going to invent something called gravitational pull.
Or maybe meeting other beings from another place. Have you ever wondered what it's like on another planet? And you watch a science show and come to believe you understand it? You feel empowered by the knowledge and you feel enlightened. Listening to Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. But then you wake up and you start to see the obvious. Life is just a lie and this whole world ain't what we thought it was. NASA's missions to the moon were never completed. They just put them in a room and people believe it. I used to wonder what it's like to be an astronaut. Now when I see them acting, I can't help but to laugh a lot. They give us cartoons and they claim that we live on the ball. But it's flat and it's not moving or spinning at all. Why are you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pass theory written by winners of wars. The Jesuit order, Khazars, Freemasons, and more. They pulled the veil over our eyes, and it's time to awaken. Through organized indoctrination, our minds have been taken. It's time we take our power back and we rescue our people. The Vatican and the bankers are like Resident Evil. They may have had the greatest plan that was ever concocted, but Illuminati never thought that they'd ever be spotted. They're manufacturing reality all in our heads. They tell you if the earth is flat, then you'll fall off the edge. But if it is a spinning ball, you won't fall off it then. And gravity is our imaginary magic friends. Why is water always flat when unmanipulated? Why are pictures of the earth computer generated? Why are you lying to us, man? That's something that we want to know. After that, you're gonna have to pack up all your stuff and go. There is no proof that everything that we see today is the result of the Big Bang, which claims that nothing exploded into everything. That's absolutely absurd. Humans did not evolve over millions of years from ape-like creatures. Where are the countless missing links? Where's a creature that looks like it's in between apes and humans? There aren't any. And gravity is complete nonsense. You aren't stuck to the side of a spinning ball right now that's tilting, wobbling, and flying through outer space at over 500,000 miles per hour. Space doesn't exist. When you look up at the night sky, you'll see stars embedded in the firmament. Planets are called wandering stars because they move differently than the rest of the stars. Earth is not a planet. Earth is a plane, and the planets are just luminaries in the night sky. We aren't floating around in outer space. Earth is a level and motionless plane, and it's covered by a dome. If you take the time to look at all this seriously, you'll see that you are being separated. Praise God.
Dear NASA, it's becoming 100% crystal clear that you and the other space programs that are in operation are connected and are deceiving the entire world. More and more people are becoming connected. We're now able to see right through you. But what we really want to know is, why are you lying? And do you really think that you get away with it? It's time to pack all your stuff and go. Sincerely, men, women, children, this earth. You're beautiful, flat earth.
Okay, well,
Ptolemy refined Earth center. For 1,500 years, Ptolemy's system was used as the basis of astronomy and calendars, and it worked quite well.
Copernicus hated that, and Copernicus set about to undo Ptolemy's greatest discovery.
while working at the request of Pope Leo X on improvements to the Julian calendar, Copernicus conceived what turned out to be the foundational idea of modernity itself. The idea that the Earth moved. Not all were persuaded by Copernicus, however. The greatest astronomer of the time, Tycho Brahe, developed a new geocentric model. The Earth occupies the planets orbit the sun, and the sun orbits the Earth. Tycho hired a young assistant named Johannes Kepler in 1600. Kepler, working on his own development of the Copernican system, needed Tycho's observations, but Tycho refused to part with them. When Tycho died suddenly and mysteriously in 1601, Kepler took charge of Tycho's observations and used them to develop his own system. In Kepler's system, the sun is in the center, while the planets move on ellipses, non-uniformly. The ellipse, with its two foci, allows us to see that Ptolemy's epicycles and eclipse were actually a brilliant attempt to express non-uniform motion centuries before Kepler. Indeed, once the concept of non-uniform motion is introduced, all of these systems can be shown to be geometrically identical.
Further back than any of us can remember, we are told we live on a globe, a spinning ball hurtling through space at more than 1 million miles an hour. Did you know that's just a story? Let's address the facts. Water always finds and maintains its level. 70% of the Earth is water. So where exactly do you think this curve begins? The world's lighthouses, railroads, and bridges all fail the curvature test. Why can we see much further than the curvature math dictates? Did you know that every experiment to prove the Earth is moving has failed? Every. Did you know that gravity is just a theory that's never been proven? When was the last time you observed water conforming to the outside of a container, like sticking to a spinning ball? Pictures from space? Did you know that fisheye lenses are NASA's best friend that intentionally distort reality? They openly admit their pictures of Earth are CGI composites, and all amateur high-altitude balloon footage reveals no curve. If there's a spinning, orbiting, soaring through space, how come the constellations have not changed in thousands of years? Did you know that airplanes climb to their cruising altitude, level off, and then descend to their destination, never once adjusting to Earth's alleged curvature? Did you know that compasses and gyroscopes don't even work on a globe? We've all been duped.
All right, thank you very much for that opening statement. We are going to switch it over where Fight the Flat Earth will be giving his opening statement as well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited for tonight's debate. It will be a lot of fun, and want to let you know, if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button, as we have many more juicy, controversial debates to come. And so, kicking it over to Fight the Flat Earth for his opening statement, the floor is all yours.
I'm just gonna need a minute. Oh wow. Oh right. So hey, I'm FTFE. I'm from the channel that kicks stupidity down the staircase of knowledge, and apparently I'm debating a meme. Oh wow. So I thought that this debate was to present evidence of a model for either side. So I've got evidence of the heliocentric model making predictions and carrying out those predictions. And I wanted to tell one story in particular, which kind of cements not only gravity as a fact, but the heliocentric model, especially the heliocentric model of our solar system, as correct. So when Newton and Kepler came up with their laws of motion and Newton's law of gravity, they tried applying it to the luminaries in the sky, and they got it to match most things. But they were watching the orbit of Neptune. Or was it the orbit of Uranus? Sorry. And they noticed that at certain points in the orbit, it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do based on the laws that they had just come up with. So they sat down and they did a bit of math, And based on the model that they'd come up with the model of gravity and the understanding of the motions of the planets and stuff, they said, right, well, this motion, this can be explained if there is another massive body in this particular spot, right? So what they did was at a certain time in the year when the planet was making those strange motions in the sky, they looked at the point that they predicted a massive body should be. The point of this prediction was that if gravity is real, then the motions that are a bit weird can be explained by there being a planet in this position that is exerting a gravitational field. So what they did was they made the prediction, they looked in the sky at that point, and lo and behold, they found a planet. You know, the 8th planet in the solar system was discovered. And that's what a model does, right? A model will make predictions about the natural world, and those predictions will then match reality. And that's what the heliocentric model does. Gravity, the predictions around gravity match reality. In fact, only a week or so ago, the smallest measurement of gravity ever was conducted. They used 2-millimeter gold spheres to recreate the Cavendish torsion experiment on a micro scale. And they measured a gravitational acceleration 600 billion times smaller than the gravitational acceleration of Earth. I think it was even more than that, actually, maybe 600 trillion times. But it matched the predictions of gravity, the known value of the gravitational constant, and it verified what we already have verified before, but to much more accuracy than we've ever had before. And again, that's what a model does. It makes a prediction. And if you're looking at the Cavendish experiment, you make a prediction that gravity should exhibit torque on the wire because that's what our prediction of the model is. And then that's what happens. So when we're talking about a model has to be able to make predictions and actually verify those predictions in reality. I was hoping IGER would present one, but apparently not. But there is one, I'm not going to go on about this. We can talk more about it in the back and forth. But the point is, all predictions that the heliocentric model make are correct. And there is one thing that I've been asking flat earthers to explain to me if there's any kind of flat earth model. And that is the 2 meteor showers that we get every year. We get 2 meteor showers every year at the same time because the Earth passes through the tail left by Halley's Comet, which goes in and out of our solar system every 76 years. The movements of all of the comet, where the tail is, the fact that we're going to get the meteor storms and everything at these particular times can be mathematically explained and predicted with the heliocentric model. If for the flat Earth to call itself a model, all observations that we make have to be explained, including observations like that. I'd like to get more into the back and forth because I'm going to press IGER for actually having a model. But for now, I'd like to yield the rest of my time.
Thank you very much. We will jump into open discussion. Want to let you know, folks, our guests are linked in the description. So if you'd like to hear more from them, you certainly can by clicking on those links. And that includes the podcast, as we now put our guest links in the podcast description box as well, in case you're listening via podcast. So thanks, gentlemen. The floor is all yours for the open discussion.
IGER, hi, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So, yeah, I was hoping you would give some evidence of a flat Earth model. I was told that you have a working flat Earth model you could present, but frankly, what you presented was a bunch of memes that I see every time I open my Facebook feed. None of them that either disprove the heliocentric model or give evidence of the flat Earth model. Well, so my simple question to you is, do you have a flat Earth model that you can present?
I personally think there's 3 different good flat Earth models that people talk about. But the most common one would be the AE map, the azimuthal equidistant map with the North Pole in the middle. So I think that's my favorite model for now. Seems to work with all the astrological signs. It works with all the sun, the moon, pretty much everything. Seems like it was reverse engineered to the heliocentric model, which would be the spinning oblate spheroid that you believe in. Do you believe in the?
First off, that's not a model. That's a map. And do you know where the AE map comes from? Who came up with it?
You're gonna say it was reverse engineered from a globe, but we're gonna say that.
Well, I'm not gonna say that. What I could do is I could cite the patent for the person that came up with that map, and the person that came up with that map actually in the patent for it said that it's based on a globe. Now, sorry?
What year was this patent that you're claiming? Because the AE map has been around for a long time.
Yeah, what's it? I can't remember his name. One sec. It's whoever. He didn't call it the AE map. He called it the Gleason. That's it. The Gleason map, right? The Gleason map was the first introduction of the azimuthal equidistant projection map, right? And it was Alexander Gleason that came up with that. And in the patent for it that he presented, he explained how it is distorted from that of a globe. And that was the first time the AE map was presented. Now, apart from the fact that that's a map, not a model, right? Also, I can debunk the AE map as representing reality with one word, and that word is Australia.
Australia.
Yeah. Please tell me, is Australia 4 times the size of Canada?
Look, you're claiming that Alexander Gleason's the first person that came up with the AE map when there's older maps. There's older maps that precede Alexander Gleason's map, like the
Please present one.
Like the Urbano Monte map has an AE map, and that one was made back in the 1400s. So there's been plenty of.
It's an azimuthal equidistant projection map, the one that Alexander Gleason patented.
If you look at the Urbano Monte map from the 1400s, that one's also an AE map, and it precedes Alexander Gleason.
Centered on the North Pole.
Centered on the North Pole, yeah. It's called the
showing
Urbano Monte map.
All of the continents as they are.
Pretty much. Now, I will say that they didn't have 100% correct cartography even back in Alexander Gleason's day, which was in the 1800s. So that could account for the distortion of Australia. And even now,
nothing accurate. Right.
Even now, most of the maps we see today, they'll tell you right on the ledgers that some of the continents have been shaped to fit the sizes. So nobody knows exactly 100% sure what the flat Earth looks like, because you can't go sit on top. You can't go sit on top of heaven and look straight down unless you believe NASA, which I'm sure you do. But
I don't need to believe NASA. Both things that NASA say are independently verified. So but okay, so the AE map simply does not represent reality. Now, the azimuthal equidistant map is correct with distances from north to south. Okay, so going from the North Pole directly south, the distances will accurately represent reality. The problem is when you try to go east to west. Nearer the North Pole, the east to west is almost correct, but the further away from the North Pole you get, distances east to west become more distorted. This allows the sphere to be represented on a 2D plane. So if you were going to take the AE map as an accurate representation of reality, that would mean certain things in reality are impossible, like flights from, South Africa to South America, which exist and take about 16 hours, but on a flat Earth would be entirely impossible. And based on current, planes and fuel capabilities, you couldn't have a non-stop flight going from one distance to the other. Distances simply do not work east to west on an azimuthal equidistant projection map. And again, the person that came up with that, Alexander Gleason, patented it, and in the patent explains how it is distorted from a globe. Plus, as I said, it's a map, not a model. So I guess I have to ask the question again, do you have a model?
Are you talking about the shape of the Earth or how the stars work?
No, I'm talking about
because like I said, I prefer the Alexander Gleason's map. I think it's the most accurate, even according to you. Even according to you, it's accurate till you get to the equator, and at that point it becomes just distorted.
No. It's already distorted by the time it gets to the equator. Any distances east to west once you leave the North Pole are incorrect.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're looking at the ball from the top, even if you believed in the ball, if you're looking at the Alexander Gleason's map from above, it's accurate. It's pretty accurate till you get to the equator. At that point, you're going to argue that
No, it's not.
It's been distorted.
It's already distorted by the time it gets to the equator.
Out under the equator, because for the most part, most of the map is inside of the equator.
Yeah, so at the equator, you're already distorted by about 40% extra in distances east to west. So sorry. But again, that's a map, and there are many different equidistant projection maps, not just one centered on the North Pole. But a map isn't a model. A model is, as I said in my opening, something that has predictive capabilities about the world around us. And not just predictive as in, oh, we know that something's going to happen on this day because it's happened before. Predicted as in, you can explain the mechanism behind it and predict something down to the millisecond. And that's what the heliocentric model does with 100% accuracy. Now, for you to say that there's a flat Earth model, it would have to not only do these things as well as the heliocentric model, but better than the heliocentric model.
You're
So
actually surprised to find out that even the heliocentric model uses old devices to predict the events in the sky, such as the astrolabe, the planisphere that we use here to look at our constellations.
astrolabe only works on a globe, just so you know.
The astrolabe works perfectly. No matter what.
As a sailor, I can tell you 100% astrolabe sextants only work on a globe. They literally, because they measure angles of luminaries in the sky, which only corresponds and makes sense to things if we are living on a globe. It simply does not make sense. No, it's not. It's not an assumption. It's a fact. If you model out these things, it makes sense.
It assumes all the stars are the same distance away if you're using a
no, I'm not talking about
triangulate. It's not taking into account.
I'm not talking about distance to the stars.
Orion, how far away the stars are at. So
okay. All right. Stop. Dude, stop. You're jumping around here. You're changing the subject.
You're the one that got a question, so I was.
But you don't measure the distance to the stars. That's all right. Will you stop talking? Take a breath.
You're talking too, bro. You don't let me.
I'm trying to explain something, and you're just going on. So please, just take a second, right? Sextants do not measure the distance to the stars. They measure angles of elevation from the horizon. So, and when you map them out, they do. Okay, I'm sorry, but apparently the middle of my sentence interrupted the beginning of yours. I am terribly sorry.
All right, we do. Let's hear from Fight the Flat Earth in terms of finishing that thought, and then I promise we'll come back to you. If we have to, we'll divide it into like 2 or 3 minute intervals. But just because it's already going off the rails, so
So okay, so a sextant, right? A sextant works by measuring the angles of elevation to stars, and what you find is that for every 6 to 9 miles that you travel away from the North Pole, the angle of elevation of things in the sky, like the North Pole, will change by 1 degree. And that, if you map it out, only makes sense on a globe. It cannot happen if the Earth is flat, because 1 degree every 6 to 9 miles would give you conflicting positions for the elevation of the North Star when you map it out on a flat Earth. It simply doesn't work. A sextant is designed to work on a globe, and sailors knew this fact. So, if you're talking about an astrolabe or a sextant, you are confirming that the Earth is a globe, because those things are designed to work on a globe.
All right, that's an incorrect assumption, because before sextants and astrolabes, they've been around since the days before people even imagined they lived on the ball. They've been around. The solar cycle was around pretty much since the beginning of written history, which is 5,000 years old. Then you have instruments like the Antikythera mechanism that the Greeks made back in about 2,000 years ago, around Jesus's time. So they didn't believe they lived on a spinning ball back then. They didn't have gravity. They didn't have NASA. They didn't have JAXA, all the other government space agencies. These instruments are still what we use today to predict the motions of the sky, the sun, the moon.
Okay.
The planets, or what we call now the wandering stars. And then back to your sextant thing, they are assuming that all the stars are about the same distance away, which is a lot of flat earthers say it's 3,000 miles, but I think it could be a lot closer than that. Some people say that the firmament starts at 100 miles, whether it's made with different layers of glass or water, like the Bible describes. Then that's up to debate, and we're probably never gonna know. We're probably gonna debate it forever.
Can I respond to that? The sextant?
The motions of the skies, we've been able to predict before anybody ever believed of the thinking of believing on a spinning player. ball Earth, we've been able to predict all the motions of the sky and the planets and whatnot. And that's instruments we still got today. Go ahead.
All right,
Right,
I'm gonna
so,
just to be safe, I'm gonna put a 3-minute intervals. 3 minutes is yours. Fight the flat Earth.
Okay, so Sarah's cycle cannot predict things accurately like the heliocentric model can. You can get the day roughly when things are going to happen, but the star cycle cannot predict things down to the millisecond like the heliocentric model can. Also, we've known the Earth was a ball for about 2,500 years. This is shown throughout history for like majority of the time. And again, going back to the sextant, it only works if the Earth is a globe. There is no explanation for these stars changing 1 degree every 69 miles. When you map that out, when you actually go and map it out, it gives you conflicting elevations for things like, the North Pole, that's what you're measuring against. For the North Star, sorry, that's what you're measuring against. For every 69 miles you go, it wouldn't be a 1 degree difference. It would change. Every 69 miles would be a different amount of degree change. The only way it can be a 1 degree change is because for us, it's practically parallel because the things are so far away. It does not work if you map it out on a flat Earth. You can't say that the sextant is something that's designed to work on the flat Earth, or even say that it would possibly work on the flat Earth, because if you map it out, it simply does not work on the flat Earth, right? And again, I have to keep asking you this question. Is there a flat Earth model that is as good as or better than the heliocentric model at predicting things?
Okay, I'll give you another minute and a half.
No, I don't need it. I'm cool. I don't need to go on.
You got it. All right. Well, just to keep it roughly the same, IGER will give you a minute and a half to respond.
All right. So again, you're saying that as you travel further south, for example, the North Star, which is either 323 light years away or 434 light years away, according to the heliocentric model, because they keep changing the numbers whenever things don't add up. But yeah, that's exactly how it will work. The further away you get from an object, it's gonna lower in your horizon. For instance, if you look at a street light, the further you get away from it, the closer it gets to your vanishing point or the horizon. So that's exactly how it works on a flat surface, and that's what we see happening in the sky. The further away you get from the North Star, the lower it is in the horizon because you're getting further away from it. North Star being in the center. If you take the AE map, which is the one I like the best because all our instruments, such as the Astrolab or Planisphere, that have been around for thousands of years, they still work perfectly today. I actually have a Planisphere here that I used to stargaze myself. But what was the other thing you said? That they figured out the Earth was about 2,000 years ago. According to Aristophanes, who knows if this is even a true story or not, but he looked down a well, sent his buddy down a couple cities. Don't ask me how they measure miles or kilometers back then, 2,000 years ago. But apparently he knew exactly how far away he was from his friend to begin with. And then again, what you're looking at, what they saw was exactly what would happen on a flat Earth, because the further away you get from an object, like a street light, for example, if you're right under it, you're not going to cast much of a shadow, but the further away you get from it, the bigger of a shadow you're going to cast. So all they did was get further away from the sun.
About a minute and a half.
All right. So yeah, we've been able to predict eclipses and planetary motions before the spinning pear Earth was ever imagined. And then Copernicus is actually when the heliocentric ball Earth theory took off. If you believe it, it took off instantly, which it didn't. It took centuries for it to start catching on. But yeah, Copernicus, even there's supposedly that he wrote a letter rejecting the heliocentric model before he died. But that's up for debate as well. And then
he was a geocentrist, and that doesn't mean flat Earth.
Right, but again, they couldn't see curvature back then. They couldn't see any motion. They didn't have things like gravity that keep you held down to a spinning ball. So you're going to assume that they believed on a flat Earth back then. You're not going to assume that they believed on a spinning pear unless you bring Aristotle.
Geocentrists believe the Earth is a globe.
He was part of a secret society, some secret cult that they would. I think Aristotle started it, and they were sworn to secrecy for God knows how long. And then, they were part of this secret sect. So if you think this Aristophanes experiment proves everything and then nobody talked about it, till Copernicus came around, and that was 1,500 years later, we actually got some brilliant geocentric
That's 3 minutes.
Astronomers like Ptolemy.
IGER, can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, that was 3 minutes, so we're going to kick it over to Fight the Flat Earth to try to respond to those points.
Yeah, so can I screen share a sec, James?
Sure.
All right, I've literally had to break out the crayons for this, so give me 1 sec. There we go, I want to share that one. So you see my lovely drawing here? Right, so this obviously isn't to scale, this is just to represent the point. Now, assuming that this is the North Pole above the star here, okay? So this is the North Pole here, with the North Star above it, right? And each one of these is 69 miles away. Now, at each 69 miles, if you change the sextant by 1 degree, the next time you will no longer be looking at the star. You go another 69 miles, change it by 1 degree, you're no longer going to be looking at the star, even more. And every 69 miles away you get, if you just change the sextant by 1 degree, you will not be looking at where the star is. However, if you do it on a globe, say this is the North Pole right here, right? And each one of these points is at 69 miles away. At each one of these points, if you change it by 1 degree, you will still be looking in the same direction, which is this way towards the star, which matches the heliocentric model, but makes absolutely 0 sense on a flat Earth. The sextant does not work on a flat Earth. And I want to get this point across because it's very, very important. As a sailor, I know this for a fact, and so did every sailor that has ever used the sextant. It does not map out and correlate to something on a flat Earth. The positions would be wrong. It's nothing to do with perspective. It's to do with angles, and it does not match if you map it out on a flat Earth. And also, just before I yield the rest of my time, you keep talking about people like Ptolemy, etc. All right. Ptolemy was a geocentrist. Ptolemy believed the Earth was a globe. Why do you keep citing people that say the Earth is a globe?
Again, like I said earlier, bro, you keep assuming they believed on the globe, but there's not one sentence where they said that the Earth was a globe. There's no proof that they believed in the globe. The globe didn't take. I
debated one on this channel a couple of weeks ago.
Say it again.
I debated one on this channel a couple of weeks ago who was quoting the Ptolemies and Neo-Taconic models because they are globe-based models, but in a model where the universe rotates around the globe instead of the globe rotating around the sun. Geocentrism and geocentrists all say that the Earth is a globe, but it doesn't rotate. They still say it's a globe.
Have you debated or talked to?
I debated not a doctor, Robert Sugenis, whose entire career is about geocentrism. Is this really the hill you want to die on?
No,
really.
Well, no. It's
geocentrists say the Earth is a globe, dude.
You talk to one geocentric person that thinks the Earth is a globe, and you're gonna just say everybody.
Every geocentric person thinks the Earth is a globe. That's what geocentrism is.
You gotta remember. You got to remember this, the geocentric guy you talked to, he grew up with the same schools that you did, the same propaganda that's being pushed to you since you were a kid, that you lived on a spinning ball that's hurling through space 1,000 miles per hour at the equator and swooping 166,000.
Do me a favor, are you on, you got Google in front of you, you can just go and Google right now, yeah?
You do it, bro.
Yeah, just Google the word geocentrist and tell me what comes up. I'm going to tell you the first thing that comes up for me, right? And this is a quote from Simple Wiki, okay? Geocentrism is the belief that the Earth is fixed at the center of the universe. Geocentrists accept that the Earth is round. They don't think that the Earth is flat. Why do you keep quoting people that say the Earth is a globe?
Okay,
it debunks your entire premise.
That's gonna be a modern day assumption that you think geocentrists believe they live on the ball, but then it's a non-rotating ball. It's still. Yeah. But back to the flat Earth.
That's what geocentrists say.
You're assuming that Ptolemy. You're assuming that Ptolemy believed that he believed on the ball. But let me see.
His entire model was based on a globe.
Pull up something that says Ptolemy he lived on a globe, and you're not gonna find anything because back in those days, people assumed they lived on a flat stationary plane, just like they could see and experiment and demonstrate.
Oh, look at this. Oh, here we go. Model of the universe. Ptolemy placed the Earth at the center of his geocentric model. Ptolemy thought that the Earth was a globe, and Ptolemy thought the universe was a set of nested spheres. Oh, right. So Ptolemy, the person that you keep citing, was a geocentrist who believed that the Earth was a globe.
Where does it say that Ptolemy wrote that? It might as well be you saying it. You're just reading something, and where does it
that's
say?
from Britannica.com. Well, I'll tell you what. You find me some evidence that Ptolemy ever said the Earth was flat, and then we'll go with that. Because I guarantee you won't, because he never said the Earth was flat.
In the 1500s, everybody believed in a flat Earth. Everybody believed.
I'd like some evidence for that as well, because they did not believe the Earth was a flat. They knew the Earth was a globe. You're making a lot of claims here. You're not giving any evidence. Dude, what you're doing is you keep citing people that think the Earth is a globe. Ptolemy's model was based on a globe at the center of the universe, not a flat Earth.
That's your assumption. I will say that
what an assumption, dude.
Yeah, that's your assumption. But I will say that they hadn't discovered, or maybe wherever they were at back in Ptolemy's days, maybe he didn't have access to the full map of the world. So he didn't know about the other half of the world. He didn't know about America. So maybe he did believe that the sun and the moon went under the earth at nighttime, because they didn't know that there was another side.
One of the elephants lift up their leg.
They didn't know there was another side to the planet back then, to the plane.
They didn't know about the turtles on the and the elephants on the back of the turtle. I heard that it's turtles all the way down. Is that right?
Say that again.
I heard that it's turtles all the way down. Is that right?
See, nobody knows, because even today, the deepest hole ever dug. The deepest hole ever dug is what, about 8 miles long, 7.5 miles deep. So nobody knows what's at the bottom of the earth. Nobody knows how deep it goes. Now, according to the Bible, it's held up by 4 pillars. So it's kind of interesting when you look at what the ancient
quote Professor Dave, a book says a thing.
Oh, a book? Yeah, for sure. Do you believe in any books? Do you believe in history? Or yeah, I mean, just because a book is old, like 4,000 years old, I'm not going to discount that the people didn't see what they say they saw. I'm not gonna...
Cool. So do me a favor and show me a talking donkey, or a talking snake, or a burning bush that can talk, or the sun stopping in the sky.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not allowed to cite the Bible. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
yeah, exactly. Cool.
Yeah,
glad we agree. Let's not talk about the Bible. Right.
Even if you look at your dog or cat, you can kind of get what they're saying to you. I mean, so I don't know if the animals spoke.
I'm pretty sure my cat's saying
back then, but yeah, according to the creationists, the Earth used to be things used to get a lot bigger and older. So maybe some animals did develop the capability to speak. So that's interesting. I will actually read more about those passages.
Cool. All right. So what you're saying, right? I just want to clarify what you're saying here is that you have no model for the flat Earth. There is no model of the flat Earth, none at all. None exists. Is that right?
Well, we have the AE map. I think it's the most.
No, that's not a model. That's a map, and it is not comporting to reality.
That's the one.
IGER, do you hear me? IGER, do you hear me? IGER, do you hear me? That's not a model. That is a map, and it does not comport with reality. So please listen very closely. Is there a flat Earth model? Please don't tell me about a map. Is there a working flat Earth model that can predict all of the things that the heliocentric model can?
Like I said already, bro, even if you look at how NASA predicts eclipses, they use the Saros cycle to predict eclipses. So
no, they don't.
Yeah, they do. Check it out for yourself.
The Saros cycle cannot predict eclipses to the accuracy that NASA can using the heliocentric model. The Saros cycle can only predict. The Saros cycle can only predict eclipses to the day, and sometimes it's out by about 36 hours. The Saros cycle cannot predict. Hold on. The Saros cycle cannot predict the exact time, and more importantly, it cannot predict the location from which the eclipses can be viewed. But do you know what model can accurately make those predictions? I'll give you three guesses.
NASA.
No. I asked for a model. Which model can accurately make those predictions?
NASA.
NASA's not a model. Yeah, that's one. You got 2 more guesses.
And what makes it interesting?
Hold on. I'm asking you which model makes those predictions. You've got 2 more guesses. You guessed NASA. That was wrong because NASA's not a model. So you got 2 more guesses.
All right. So I'm gonna finish telling you. So Fred Spenek is a NASA employee who uses the Saros cycle to predict eclipses to this day. I'm gonna say it again to you. Let me finish. Fred Spenek is the NASA employee that uses the Saros cycle to predict eclipses to this day for NASA. So whenever you look at a prediction of an eclipse, you're actually going through Fred Spennick, who's actually using the Saros cycle to predict eclipses.
Would you like some goalposts? Because you seem good at moving them. Again, Saros cycle cannot make predictions the same way that the heliocentric model is, but I kind of answered the question. We're going to go back to my question. Right? Which model? Right, this is very important, right? This point needs to get across. Which model can accurately predict the time and position of eclipses? Your first guess was NASA, which is incorrect because NASA isn't a model. What's your second guess?
I'm going to go with Fred Spennick, the guy that NASA employs to predict.
Okay, Fred Spennick also isn't a model, so that's incorrect. Is there a third guess? Is there a third guess to accurately predict the position and location of eclipses? Because so far you've said an organization, which isn't a model. You've said a person, which also isn't a model. So one more guess. Which model that we know of and use all the time is capable of predicting the exact time and location of eclipses? One guess left. If not, I have to tell everybody.
Okay, go for it, because I already told you it's Fred Spennick, who works for NASA. He uses the solar cycle.
Yeah, and he's not a model. So you've got one guess left. Which model? Come on, this is easy. You could win nothing, but maybe some education. Okay, right. I'm going to tell you the name of the model. It's the heliocentric model. That is the model that can accurately predict the time and location of eclipses. The Saros cycle can only do it to within a day, roughly.
According to you, but not according to Fred.
According to facts.
Or NASA.
What I'd like to do is jump into these intervals again, just as it's rowdy, but we'll go over to, pardon my interruption, I think you were just about to say something, Fight the Flat Earth.
No, it's all right. I was just expecting, I don't know why, but a model to debunk. But I mean,
I keep telling you the AE map works great for flies.
That's not a model.
The Fred Spennick NASA employee that uses the Saros cycle.
Also not a model.
How about this? Why don't we'll give IGER a few minutes to make his case in, you could say, putting forth his position, and then we'll come back to Fight the Flat Earth to give a rebuttal.
Roger.
All right. So according to what I saw about 4 years ago, I heard that the Earth was flat. I couldn't believe it myself because I believed I lived on a spinning ball for most of my life, over 35 years. And I was kind of upset about it, because once you find out that the moon landings were fake, they were filmed by Stanley Kubrick in the studio. And then you look at the Mars rover, which is laughable, especially if you have Google and you can look up Devon Island, Canada, click images. You're going to see how similar that is to Mars. All you need is a cheap Instagram filter. And then these people are getting $20 billion a year, $50 million a day to give us cartoons. That's why he hasn't used any of the NASA images, which would be the greatest proof of all. But they're so laughable that not even the baller debaters will use them because they know they look so fake. It's ridiculous. All you get is cartoons and some bad actors in there. But yeah, once you realize that the Bible actually is true, that there's a firmament above there, that's why the star twinkles, there's water up there, there's a heaven up there. Deepest hole ever dug is only 8 miles deep. So, you got the cartoon that's been engraved into your head ever since you went to kindergarten, where there's got an orange layer and a red layer and iron nickel. But in reality, the deepest hole ever dug is only 8 miles deep. So nobody, that cartoon showing now is hilarious. It's just a cartoon. It's an emitted image. Most images of the ball are self-emitted images, where they don't even claim them to be real pictures. Except for the Himawari 8, which if you want to pull that up, that's also very laughable. It looks like a cartoon. And they do a live feed every 8 minutes. But it brings you closer to the Bible. The whole flat earth, man, is pretty amazing how it brings you to the realization that there's a God above there. There's a hell below you. Matter of fact, in the deepest hole, they say that they stuck a microphone in there and they could hear the sounds of hell. That still comes up on YouTube. There's a little microphone they stuck down in there. They could hear hell. What else I got for you? You did want to talk about Mars, so maybe on my next interval, I'll tell you how I came to the conclusion that the Mars rovers were filmed in Devon Island, Canada, and it's pretty hilarious. It involves this Mars rat. I'll tell you all about it here in my next video.
All right, we'll switch it over. So thank you very much. The floor is all yours. Fight the flat Earth for 2 minutes as well.
So I guess the answer is no. There is no flat Earth model. Thank you for the clarification of that, IGER. That's wonderful to know that there is no flat Earth model. So
I could tell you AE map all day.
That's not a model. So yeah,
I could tell you solar cycle. I could tell you planosphere.
Yeah. So have you ever read the paper by Fred Espnick by any chance?
No, I have not. But I know NASA employs him to predict the eclipses, and he uses the solar cycle to predict the eclipses.
Oh, Rob, you should really read the paper that he wrote about it, where he explains how you can't use the solar cycle to make the predictions accurately. But no, whatever, it's just what the guy said himself. But
Okay.
But like I was saying before you started speaking, you have confirmed that there is no flat Earth model. So I do appreciate that. So thank you very much. And what I can say conclusively is that there's no way to replace the heliocentric model with anything flat. There is no way that the flat Earth can make the predictions for things that you see in reality. And to quickly respond, this picture is not CGI. It was taken with a physical camera, a Hasselblad camera, actually, and developed in a dark room. Not any kind of Photoshop. NASA have said that one picture is Photoshop. Honestly, Iger, all those memes that you showed were completely and utterly ridiculous and have all been debunked a million times, and simply show that you do not understand anything about the physical universe. You've not come along with any evidence of anything that you say. You come along with speculations and misunderstandings, not knowing what a model even is, and that's about it. Why isn't there any evidence for the flat Earth? Why have you come along with trying to debunk the globe Earth and doing it wrong instead of presenting evidence for the flat Earth?
The flat Earth is self-provable. You don't need, you could just go outside and look at the Earth and you're not going to feel any motion. You're not spinning 1,000 miles per hour. You're not moving 66,600 miles per hour around the sun. The sun's not moving freaking 500 million miles around the Milky Way, and you're not shooting off the Big Bang at the speed of light or whatever number they want to make up nowadays. But yeah, so the flat Earth is actually self-provable itself. You don't ever take it into account for anything. You don't take curvature into account for anything. You don't take into account curvature of the Earth when building bridges, when building aqueducts. The Romans built 60-mile-long aqueducts. They would have had to account for curvature.
The makers of the New York Venice Area Narrows Bridge would very much disagree with you. They had to take the curvature of the Earth into account when building it.
Yeah, it's funny because the water looks perfectly level under their curved bridge. But
well, that's cool because level is curved to the surface of the Earth. But
the water's level and the bridge is curved. But either way,
level is curved to the surface of the Earth. So you're right, the water is level. But the bridge isn't the thing that's curved. The bridge is flat. The thing is that the plumb support towers are closer together at the top than they are at the bottom. And again, they're plumb, which means that they are completely perpendicular to the ground. Yet they are closer together at the top than the bottom, showing that the curvature of the bridge was taken into account when actually designing it. And if you go into the design documents of the Venice Area Narrows Bridge, from the people that actually designed and built it, they talk about how taking the curvature of the Earth into account was pretty important for that design. So there is that.
But there's one bridge for a paper that they took the curvature of the Earth into account, and the bridge looks curved. But
every suspension, I'll tell you now, every single suspension bridge would have the same phenomenon where the top is closer together than the bottom. The Venice Area Narrows Bridge just happens to be big enough that making the measurement is slightly easier.
Yeah, I'll concede to that.
So no evidence for the flat Earth. Just going, it's self-evident. I don't feel motion is irrelevant because. Right, you said there's no motion to the Earth, right? That was your words. Do you agree? Hold on. I'm asking a question. Calm down. You said that there is no motion to the Earth because you don't feel any motion to the Earth. Is that right?
Yeah, there is no motion to the Earth and you don't feel it. That's
right.
Correct.
Explain how we can measure it then.
You can't measure it. You can't measure the.
Okay, I'm going to respond to that. I would like your attention for 45 seconds.
If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees.
It's a nice cartoon.
Yeah, further apart. I'm sorry.
Anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift.
It's pretty cartoon.
In the 21st century.
Oh, you convinced me now, bro.
Called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. if we could
It's like the flux capacitor from Back to the Future.
All that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Yeah, so we can actually measure it. And just to quickly correct myself, I said closer together. I meant further apart. I misspoke. Yeah, the tops of the Venice Aeronautic bridges are like, I think 1 5/8 inches further apart at the top than they are closer together. And that's what you expect if the Earth is a globe. I'm obviously not a concave earther. I just misspoke. I apologize. Yeah, we can measure that the Earth rotates. So how can we measure that the Earth rotates if the Earth isn't rotating?
Okay, for starters, you're using the flux capacitor from Back to the Future and some cartoons. That's proof.
Yeah, that's not a flux capacitor. It's an interferential fiber optic gyroscope that measures rotation, and that and every single one of them in the world measure the rotation of the Earth in 3 axes and the rotation around the sun in 2 axes at about 1 degree a day. How is that possible to make that measurement if the Earth is stationary?
All right, so there's a couple theories. You might be measuring the movement of the firmament, which we
wrong.
Listen, it's called.
That's not how they can work.
Can I answer?
Well, I'm going to tell you when you're wrong.
Well,
they can't
let's
detect anything.
Let's give him a chance to try to give like
Sorry, apologies.
So one explanation I've heard is either it's picking up the drift from the ether, which is the waters above, and the firmament and the electromagnetic stuff that's moving up there. But the other one is if this gyroscope is actually functional and you put it in an aircraft, you're going to be measuring a movement when you're parked on a parking lot. This would be the most useless gyroscope in the history of the world. That you're going to take your aircraft and you're going to park and it's recording motion. Then it's going to be it's completely useless. But for me, I personally think it's just a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Looks like a flux capacitor. I doubt that this.
You think that it's a cartoon? Lovely.
And you're getting your information from Netflix is the other part. You're getting your information from Netflix. So
no. Okay, so the point is of showing that is that right, the point. Okay, so let me respond to all the things you said and explain why it's all wrong. First off, it doesn't matter where it came from. All right, Bob showed that he did that experiment on Netflix, so I'm going to show it. But the thing is, it shows what every single interferometric fiber optic gyroscope in the world shows. Every single one of them shows the same thing. And every single time a pilot turns on his plane, all 3 of them that he has on his plane shows that the Earth is rotating and actually uses that rotation to figure out where the plane is. Right? It's not a cartoon. It is not a flux capacitor. It is an interferometric fiber optic gyroscope using the Sagnac effect to measure the rotation of the Earth in 3 axes and the rotation around the sun. Saying it's the ether is ridiculous because the ether does not exist. And saying it's any kind of electromagnetism is also ridiculous because the fiber optic gyroscope uses light, which does not have a charge and is therefore not affected by any electromagnetism. Next.
All right. So I don't believe in NASA, right? I don't believe in.
Don't care. I haven't cited NASA once.
Yeah. I know you don't because
you're not debating NASA. You're debating me. Stop debating NASA.
All right. But here you are. So I don't believe in Einstein's theory of relativity as well.
You don't understand, you mean?
Yeah. No, what? Well, whatever. And then here you are.
How many tensor equations are there?
All right. Well, I do want to just let IGER make his case, and I promise to come back to you for the same amount of time.
Your proof that the Earth is moving is a Netflix clip that has the what's it called? The flux capacitor from Back to the Future. That's your proof that it moves.
Yeah.
So again, this
flux capacitor is a Y. Actually,
gyroscopes actually record motion when something is moving. That's the actual functioning gyroscope that you're going to have on an aircraft. This gyroscope right here will be. I don't even know what you would use it for because if it's detecting motion while the aircraft is parked, then it's a danger to you if you're taking it up on air flight. When it's
you should probably speak to every pilot in the world.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about the Mars rover and how I did that. So I don't know if I could share my screen for like.
I'm not finished with the gyroscope yet, and the rotation of the Earth. I don't want to move on. I want to show how little you know about everything.
Why don't we do this?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
IGER, we can in the future, like as in, let's give Fight the Flat Earth a chance to respond at this point, and then I promise right after that we can jump into your.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the Mars rover after this. Go ahead.
first off, it's gyroscope, not gyroscope, just so you know. Yeah, you're right. Gyroscopes do record motion. They absolutely do. And that's why you can use not only interferometric gyroscopes, but physical gyroscopes to record the motion of the Earth. There is several different experiments using actual physical devices, using quantum levitation devices, using pendulums hung on extremely thin wires that drift the predicted amount. You can do it with a simple swinging pendulum, which will change its amount of drift depending on your latitude. You can actually figure out your latitude on the Earth with just a swinging pendulum. It's quite incredible when you understand physics and maths. You not understanding the equations and the explanations behind relativity doesn't mean that it's not real. You saying you don't believe it, all that means is you don't understand it, all right? So if you say that you don't believe in relativity, you need to debunk the fact that you and I are talking right now. We would not be communicating the way we are without our understanding of relativity. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the Mars rover. Thank you.
Of course you are. No, you don't understand how gyroscopes work, so you want to move on to the next topic and pretend that I didn't just demolish you. But cool, whatever.
Yeah, you did great, bro. You did great.
I did, thank you.
Yeah, just like when you said Fresh Planet wrote an article how the solar cycle predicted physics accurately, but
yeah,
way,
I read the article whilst you were waffling. Actually, it's quite well. At least I skimmed through it, and he mentions about how it's inaccurate and you have to make alterations, etc., etc., and how actually the solar cycle only works up to a certain time and then has to repeat itself and reset to a different time. But you know, whatever. Think that NASA uses the solar cycle all you like. I'd agree with you. But then we both were wrong. So please carry on.
All right. So the next one is going to be the Mars rover here. I don't know if I can share my screen, James.
You already are, I believe.
Yes.
Am I?
We can see
it. Okay. All right. So, you look up at the pictures of the Mars rover, and they all look like this place right here. It's called Devon Island, Canada. Oh, man. It's Google. Either way. So we got Devon Island, Canada. You click images, and it's the largest uninhabited island of man. And you just go there and click images, and you got little rovers walking around. Supposedly that's where they train to film the Mars rovers missions. And then there's something real interesting here. You just put a little red thing. Looks like you're on Mars. That's probably where they film most of the movies too. But it's pretty cool. Devon Island, Canada. Click images. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick regarding Mars is
wait. One thing at a time.
Hold on. This is tied together. So it's the Mars rat. About 10 years ago, when I believed in the baller.
No, okay, right. No, that's a different subject. Let's stick with the Mars rover and Devon Island for now before you jump to something else. Okay.
Hey, this is part of it. It's all tied.
No, all right. That's a separate subject. Can we do one thing at a time?
Humor it. I know that I'm. Let's humor it, and I promise we'll give you plenty of time for the fire. And so,
right, so
we'll let you summarize. Hold on 1 second, Iger. Fight the Flat Earth, I promise. We'll let you kind of summarize each of his arguments and then address one at a time.
It's just Devon Island, Canada, Mars rat. About 10 years ago, NASA released a picture. You can just look up Mars rat, click images. You're gonna see it for yourself. And then I believe that there was life on Mars about 10 years ago because I thought I lived on a spinning ball. I thought that Mars missions were real. So yeah, but then
you had a brain injury or.
No, turn to find out. This is actually Arctic lemon, which is native to Devon Island, Canada. So the last thing I want to do is, I show you the Mars rat there. So I'm just going to show you the Arctic lemon, who's native to Devon Island, Canada. So come to find out, the flat earthers were right, and they're filming Mars here on Earth. They're not sending robots that are traveling up freaking who knows how fast these things are going. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And then supposedly these parachutes are landing them safely. And but no, they're just going to Devon Island, Canada, giving you cartoons and then putting a cheap red filter on them and pocketing $20 billion a year. All right, that was it. Go ahead, bro.
Cool. Well, pareidolia. So yeah, a rock looks like a thing. Big deal. Pareidolia. I saw a cloud that looks like a unicorn the other day. Is there unicorns in the sky? No, there isn't, because pareidolia is a thing. Oh God, you jump around so much. It's hard to. This is why I was like, no, can you shut up so we can concentrate on one thing at a time? Right, Devon Island. Yeah. So just going, this thing looks like that thing is irrelevant. NASA has never said they do not use Devon Island as a simulated environment because it's one of the closest Mars-like environments that you can get on Earth. So it makes sense that they would test a lot of their stuff there. Just because one thing looks like another thing doesn't mean that thing that we're showing you isn't real. All you've done is gone, oh, well, this might be fake, and then showed me some pareidolia. No, it's just, it's nothing apart from speculation. Yeah, NASA used Devon Island. Yeah, there's pictures of rovers on Devon Island because they go there to test the rovers that they build before they send them to places like Mars. Because you know what? Got to see if they fucking work.
Yeah, it's funny because wherever they
just go in. Oh, hold on. Just go in. Oh, well, this looks like Devon Island, or oh, this looks like a mouse. Doesn't mean anything. You have no evidence of anything you say. This is me being nice to you, but you're a fucking idiot.
Oh, so are you? But yeah. The Mars
objectively
rat,
true that you are.
It's not something.
One sec. Iger, just because I want to keep the promise to Craig, is forgive me, my attention split between the chat and collecting questions. So, Craig, did you get to address both the point?
Yeah. Pareidolia is a thing. Is my entire answer to that. And gotcha. Wow, Devon Island looks like a thing as well. Doesn't matter. It gotcha. Doesn't mean that is from faking Mars. It's nothing but speculation and, oh, well, I want to believe. You don't have a model. You don't have a functioning map. You don't have any physics that explain anything that you claim. You don't have any distances. You don't have any experiments to show that the Earth is not rotating or flat. You don't have any measurements of the Earth being flat. Yet I can show you so many measurements of the Earth being curved because it has been measured. I can show you so many measurements of the Earth rotating because it has been measured, to your, in total, 0 actual measurements that you can show me. You have nothing. You brought nothing. You walked into a gunfight with a rolled up newspaper that was damp.
What we'll do is give you a few minutes to respond, Iger, and then we will kick it back to Fight the Flat Earth for 3 minutes as well. Go ahead, Iger.
Yeah. Forex Intelligence Agency, I think you're disgusting as well. Thank you. Just the fans in the chat. Disgusting is a good thing, right?
Yeah. In the new satanic world you live in, yeah, everything's backwards. So yeah, good is bad and bad is good. But yeah, back to this Mars rat, bro. It's
Satan, huh? Let's go there. That's a good one.
I thought it was life on Mars, but it's just a little Arctic lemon.
Yeah, we've never really said there's life on Mars.
Yeah, wherever NASA tells you they train, it's actually where they film. You got that exact replica of the International Space Station in Texas. You could just look that one up, and it's a swimming pool with exact replica of the International Space Station. That's where they filmed their space.
Because they train there, you unbelievable moron.
I did promise 3 minutes. I did. Hold on 1 sec. Iger, thanks for your patience.
Apologies, James. Apologies.
I do want to. Okay. I was just hearing the echo. Sorry. Long story short, folks, do want to let you know. Want to ask you in the chat to attack the arguments 100%. You can say the nastiest, most terrible things you want about people's arguments. We do want to ask that you respect the speakers, just because we really appreciate them being here. Like, people. Realistically, and I know that Craig, you laugh it off. I know that you're not bothered by it, but I do nonetheless want to defend the speakers and say we appreciate them. And reasonable people are kind of like, even if it's the 1% who are trashing the guests, reasonable people don't want to come and hang out there. And so we do want to let you know we will delete direct attacks on the speakers. And so want to let you know, folks. This is because we do appreciate the guests. You can call me a trash bag or whatever else you want. I'm going to be here every night. But nonetheless, for real. All right, go ahead, Iger. We'll give you that rest of your roughly 3 minutes left to go.
Yeah. So back to the training, because he says they train in Devon Island. Yeah, they don't only train there; they also film there. Same thing goes for the underground pool of the International Space Station in Texas. That's also where they say they're training for space walks, but in reality, that's where they film them. They have an exact replica of the International Space Station in California. And there's actually a funny clip of an astronaut saying that he grew up on the town across from where they were filming that right now, which, because they're in California, he grew up in Maine. So that's a pretty funny clip. Also, you catch these astronauts making mistakes all the time. The one that got me, because I used to watch NASA live every day You
of course you did.
When I believed in the spinning ball, I was like, there's no way they're lying to us. And then, I finally saw a couple mistakes myself where they're just the three astronauts were waving goodbye and all of them swirled into a CGI swirl of glory. So yeah, they're filming just like they're filming any movie. They're actually that's the only thing NASA's good for. They make great advancements in CGI and movie making. They used to do the International Space Station shots with the Comet aircraft, and that's actually something you can go and do nowadays. Now they got real good with CGI green screen.
Bloody waffles.
It's just like they filmed the movie Gravity, and that's all we're seeing here when we're talking about NASA, RAXA, Jackson, all the government space agencies. Yeah, and God's real. He loves you, Greg. I hope you come to Jesus Christ one of these days. I hope you wake up to something. If it's not the flat Earth, maybe it's evolution, or
evolution is real as well. I don't, whether God exists or not is completely irrelevant to my existence. It doesn't change anything for me. You want a personal relationship with God, that's fine, but do not try and push it on me. I do not need to believe in a God. It is completely irrelevant to me. So
you still
please
believe
do
in
not.
where you come from, monkey and stuff. Oh, that's what I was going to say.
No, don't come from monkeys. Fuck me, man. Do you not know anything? We come from common ancestors that monkeys also come from.
Oh, so fish. So bony fish, I think, right?
Oh, Jesus.
You come from a bony fish. That's
so, I mean, you said so much there. You waffle. It's very hard to actually remember all the things that you say that are so wrong. I'm just going to go with the fact that you haven't presented any evidence that the Earth is flat. You haven't presented a model, a map, any explanations for physical phenomena, or anything at all. Don't understand how sextants work. Don't understand how astrolabes work. I mean, you got nothing.
There was a clip from the flux capacitor from Netflix movie with the Back to the Future flux capacitor. That's the only thing you presented. And
I can present a lot more. That's just a demonstration of a point. A flat earther proved the Earth rotates with science. Well, you don't prove it. He gave evidence that the Earth rotates with science, with an experiment, right? Everybody that does that experiment will get the same results, and it cannot be detecting anything apart from the motion of what it is on. I don't care if it comes from Netflix. That was just where he decided to allow his data to be displayed. The fact is, that is what happened. When he turned on his gyroscope, the Earth showed a rotation of, say it with me, everybody, a 15-degree-per-hour drift. So you don't have any evidence for what you say. You don't have a single measurement of the Earth being stationary. You don't have a single measurement of the Earth being flat. You don't have a single working map. You do not have anything.
Can you show your picture one more time? The one that you say is real, that it was taken by whatever, just real quick.
This one? That's me on the ISS a few weeks ago.
That's how easy it is to fake the International Space Station. That's beautiful right there.
I was actually on the ISS. What do you mean?
Yeah. So it just shows how easy it is to fake space footage because nobody can go up there because it's a firmament.
I was there with my buddy Elon. In fact, here was us at the party beforehand. He's really good with the maracas actually. So we had this big party. Then we popped up to the ISS together. Had a bit of a laugh. When we came back, we went out with the lads, hung about. Here's some of us out on the piss the night after. See me at the back there. So it was a great time, yeah. But you want the picture of the Earth taken in 1972.
There goes Team Never Skeptic.
I've got it.
You and Team Never Skeptic are pretty good friends, right?
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. Has also destroyed many flat earthers and idiots along the way.
IGER, I will warn you, I don't want you to slam Team when he's not here to defend himself. So if you're going to...
I'm allowed though, right? Team, you're an ugly fucker.
Isn't that Team Never Skeptic? I thought that was his name because he's never skeptical or anything. But either way, fine. This is a picture of...
Hey, I'm the only one allowed to pick on Team Skeptic, all right?
All right, good. So this is a picture of Apollo 17. It's the only picture they actually claim is real. It's the one we've been presented with a bunch of times. And then you got
citation
Africa,
required.
You got Africa taking up the whole half of the ball Earth, and then supposedly all the other.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Hey, you shouldn't say the Lord's name in vain. You're gonna go to hell, bro. You don't want to go to hell.
Well, you're the one bearing false witness, so technically you'd be the one going to hell. So
that's what I'm saying. According to NASA, they claim this is one of the only real pictures they ever released.
Citation required that NASA say this is one of the only real pictures of Earth. Please give me a citation that NASA have ever said that this is one of the only real pictures taken from Earth. Otherwise, you're just a liar.
Okay. Either way, this is one of the only real pictures that they claim is
again, citation required, that this is one of the only real pictures of Earth from space.
Okay.
And if you are saying that it's a real picture of Earth from space, congratulations, welcome to the globe.
They claim it is, but it's not. But
then how did they take it and develop it in a dark room on the camera then?
The whole half of the Earth, all the other continents are supposedly on the other side of the world. How that works out with your math, I don't know. But yeah.
Have a look at this. Have a look at this. You see this?
Yeah, I see like more than one continent. I see like 3 continents there.
Yeah.
4. You can even
you can see more than but look at the one on the left, okay? And then look at the one on the right. Which one of them can you see more on?
The one on the right, in my case.
All right, okay. So are they different globes or are they the same globe?
It looks like a zoomed out globe, so it was taken from a different angle. Either way.
But it's the same globe, right?
Can you put the other picture?
It's the same globe, yes? Yes or no? It's the same globe, yes?
It is the same globe, but these pictures are...
Right, so are those countries actually different sizes, yes or no?
They're not, but you took the camera from a different
wonderful.
angle.
You understand. Brilliant. Let's move on.
All right, perfect. All right, I forgot where I was going with this, man. But yeah, this is obviously a cartoon. It's not. It might be a painting. I don't know what it is, but
citation required.
There's no way all the other continents
in a dark room.
With that glow picture you just presented, the other continents, you still see more of the other continents than you do on this picture here. And also, I want to point out that where is the oblate spheroid? How come it looks like a perfect
right there?
sphere?
It's right there. No, that's actually an oblate spheroid.
It's shaped like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, and it doesn't look like an oblate spheroid.
Oh my God. How are you this? Right, I break out the blooming crayons again.
The word is woke. How are you this woke?
No, the word is dumb.
And the word for you is, how are you so asleep and still trusting the government? Haven't you realized that they've never told you anything that's true yet?
Cool. They didn't teach me physics or anything. No, of course not. Right.
Yeah, not the government. The government always lies, right?
Right. Okay. Let me. Can I quickly screen share, James? I just need to point out something here. Right. Mr. IGER, have a look at these 2 circles for me, would you?
Oh, that's a great cartoon.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this?
Yeah. No, this is demonstrating a point, right? One of these is a perfect circle, and one of them is an oblate circle. Could you tell me which one is the oblate circle?
I'm gonna have to take your word for it because.
Oh, I can show you the measurements on the screen, actually. Can you tell me just by looking at that, which one is a circle and which one is oblate? Because one of them is oblate.
I'm going to go with the one on the left that's oblate.
Right, wrong. The one on the left is actually 354 by 354, I believe. Okay.
This is kind of silly, but whatever.
Right, okay, so well, the one on the left was a perfect circle and the one on the right was oblate by 1 pixel. Right, so there is a noticeable difference. The one on the right is actually oblate. The one on the left is a perfect circle. But you couldn't tell that really just by looking at them. There's no way to discern that. And it's the same with the Earth. There's a 42-mile difference in the equatorial diameter circumference as there is to the polar diameters. You're not going to see that with the naked eye. It's tiny. It's imperceivable. The amount of oblateness is so small.
Yeah, so small nobody can see it.
Yeah, like I just showed you with the 2 circles.
Okay, so thanks. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. I like to educate. Sometimes it's pointless, but yeah. So
like repeat the rhetoric you've been brainwashed to believe in ever since you were.
I'm going to just make an assumption here that you don't have any higher education, right?
Yeah, I do, but you can make all the assumptions you want.
In physics or in maths or anything where you've had to apply yourself?
Maths is in business, but
right. So in business, lovely. So just quickly, if I've got a triangle of sides 1, 1, and 1, what would the internal angles be?
It will be 60 degrees each if it's a right angle. I mean, if it's like a perfect triangle. Whatever. So
if I've got a triangle of sides 2, 2, and 2, what are the angles going to be?
You tell me, Craig, because that's your field of expertise.
Oh, okay. Is 10 to the negative 17 a positive or a negative number?
Bro, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
I'm just wondering if you know. I'm trying to gauge your understanding of the physical world. What do you get if you divide 5 by 0?
0, bro. Oh, man. Hey, Craig, can you tell me something since you're so smart? How far is how far is Polaris?
About 430 light years, I think.
How come it was only 323 light years like a decade ago? What made
measurements get made better and better, and we update our knowledge. That's what science does. That's why science is open-minded, because we're willing to change our position when new evidence is presented.
So is it possible that they can change the distance to Polaris again?
Maybe, if we find a better way, more accurate of measuring, possibly.
So is it a fact then, or is it not a fact?
Based on current measurements, that's where we approximate it to be.
So 10 years ago, the fact was different than now.
Again, measurements get updated. Measurements, the ability to make measurements becomes better and better.
Will it blow your mind if Polaris turns out to be a lot closer than 323 light years?
If there's ever any evidence presented of that, then they change our position. But the evidence certainly doesn't say that it's 3,000 miles away. You can tell that it's not 3,000 miles away by using a sextant and mapping it out.
Here, so I guess I'm gonna present you a flat Earth model. See what you think about it.
I guarantee right now you are not going to present a flat Earth model.
Here. I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Share.
What do you reckon in the chat? Is he going to present a flat Earth model? Yes or no?
Let's see. I'll try my best.
Just remember that a map isn't a model.
Okay. And just real quick how it works, you know what I mean? Like, according to the flat Earth theory, the sun and moon are rotating around the North Star, right? Everybody gets that. Now, how do seasons work?
Sun and the moon are rotating around the North Star.
That's right, Polaris, the North Pole. The North Pole right here.
They're not rotating above the Earth. They're rotating around the North Star.
I'm sorry, you're right. They are above the Earth, but they're going around the North Star. All right. So how do seasons work? The sun, we see an anomaly, you know, that 8 pattern that we see in the sky. So basically the sun's throughout the year, it's making a little 8 pattern traveling from the Tropic of Cancer through the equator and then to the Tropic of Capricorn. So every year it makes this path, and that's how we have the seasons on the flat Earth model or whatever.
How?
Yeah, well, you wanted me to present a model, so this is the most popular flat Earth model.
That's not a model.
Okay. Also, the sun here is not.
No, hold on. Just to be clear, that's not a model. That's just a simulation. It doesn't explain anything. It says the sun does this, but gives us no mechanism or explanation of why. You're implying that not only is the sun rotating for no reason, but there's an acceleration inwards and outwards to explain the seasons. Acceleration requires force. Where's that imaginary crazy force coming from? That is not a model. And again, it was on an AE map, which the creator of, Alexander Gleason, said was based on a globe. So please stop presenting evidence for a globe. You've done more of that this debate than anything, because you've certainly not presented any evidence.
Alexander Gleason came up with a flat Earth map, bro, but there was flat Earth maps.
He came up with the AE map. Alexander Gleason came up with the Gleason's map of the Earth, which is
Alexander Gleason came up with the Alexander Gleason map.
That's which is the AE map.
There was already AE maps. Like I said, from the 1400s,
that's where the AE map come from. It was developed by Alexander Gleason. He came up with the method of extending out the latitudes as you get further away from the North Pole. That entire thing, the mathematical model that the AE map is based on, was developed by Alexander Gleason according to the patent that he registered.
Like I said, he came up with his own map where it did have the latitudes and longitude lines. But there was already a map out there. It's actually called here, I'll look it up real quick.
And it was not accurate at all. Didn't even have all the blooming countries on. Was not the AE map.
Again,
did not have accurate distances north to south.
We're talking about the 1400s here. I'll give you an exact date. 1587 is
cool.
So map. So
it wasn't an accurate map.
So it might not be accurate because the guy that made it probably didn't travel the whole
Okay, yeah,
world.
but to be clear,
Basically,
the
you get
AE map
representation
is
of the
also
world we got.
not. The AE map is also not accurate.
So accurate, you could use it as a, you know how accurate
It literally does not represent reality. It does not have correct distances east to west. It simply does not.
It's so good that you can actually use it as a calculator for your for the time. So wherever the sun's at is
Goodness, no, you can't. That entire thing doesn't even
wherever
work.
the sun is on top of the moon.
Again, the AE map does not represent reality, and what you're showing there is not an azimuthal equidistant map. The AE map does not represent reality. Simple as that. The only thing that is accurate on the AE map is distances north to south. Anything other than that falls outside the realms of accurately representing reality. So, I want you to understand this because you don't seem to understand this. You do not have a flat Earth model. You simply, there is none. There is no flat Earth model. A flat Earth model requires you to be able to predict and explain multiple different phenomena. The flat Earth cannot even explain why the sun is magically floating above us.
Well, I could give you some theories on that because nobody,
I bet you couldn't give me a theory.
Yeah. If you want,
I bet you could give me a hypothesis. I bet you could give me a hypothesis, but I doubt you could give me a theory.
Okay, yeah, because nobody actually knows how it works because we don't make $20 billion a year to do this research, and nobody can go past the firmament, which is what God made on day 2 of the Bible.
There is no firmament. There's absolutely 100% no firmament.
Okay, you say so, Craig. But,
yeah, one of my friends sent something to space, and there was no firmament there.
It's like 140,000 feet. With
all the missions to space would disagree with you.
If you ever watch a rocket launch, you're gonna see how they curve into the horizon.
Oh my God! You're gonna say they curve? Oh my gee! How the fuck do you think things get into
Florida,
orbit, dude?
They go up and they go down.
You live in Florida and you don't understand. Look, come on. No. Of course, rockets curve out because that's how they get into orbit. You don't go straight up and then take a hard left.
Yeah, they even have a name for that, which what you're showing right now, which is pretty cool. It's called they used to call it the roll program because the space shuttle used to roll backwards and start curving into the horizon. Now they call it the Max Q. Is what they call it with the new rocket launches. But they curve. They tell you they curve because, like you're saying, they curve because they gotta curve. But in reality, they curve so they don't hit the dome that's right above their head.
There is no dome. There is no dome. There is no dome. Someone that works on my channel, Red's Rhetoric, has literally measured the distance to the ISS independent of NASA. There is no dome.
Well, I got a feeling you and Red Rhetoric like to say independent when in reality you probably work for NASA in some type of way or some type of contractor. So maybe you have stock. Do you have stock on that?
Red's Rhetoric he works for me. He's my contractor. That's the only person that Red's works for as far as I know at the moment. He works for me to make videos for my channel. That he's also, it's mine and Red's channel. He works for me and I pay him for making the videos. He definitely doesn't get paid by NASA. Otherwise, he wouldn't need money for making videos on my channel. Just like I definitely don't get paid from NASA because I live in fucking Scotland. So I want to clarify, you do not have a model. You came to this debate without any evidence that the Earth is flat.
I tried to tell you as best as I could that I think the AE model is accurate.
It's not a model, it's a map. Repeat after me. It's not a model, it's a map.
And we can
predict, it's not accurate.
We've been able to predict eclipses ever since the solar cycle, and you ain't got
no, you can't.
How accurate
use the solar cycle to tell me the exact time and position of the next eclipse. Go.
To this day.
So basically, no is the answer.
This is the best model I got. Now, as far as
no, it's not a model. You don't have a model.
As far as to why they're moving up there, if that's anybody's best guess. I've never been past the firmament. It's a magnetism. It's a God playing a DJ up there, and just
There is no firmament though, so it's cool.
But yeah, according to you, we come from bony fish, so have you ever stopped and questioned?
The chat is right. I actually have Reds tied up in my basement. It's true, but that's irrelevant.
So yeah. Another thing the flat Earth brought me to believe in young Earth creationists. Before that, like you, I believe that we came from about 4.4 billion years ago. The Earth cooled down, formed a rocky crust, started raining for millions and millions and millions of years. Rocks came to life. 4 different theories of abiogenesis, at least right now. Nobody knows how life came to be. And then, it brought me to become a young Earth creationist. So I think that's pretty cool. Now I think the Earth is only about 6,000 years old. Noah's flood was about
So there's a young Earth
ago.
creationist that I know of on this channel quite often, Kent Hoban. Do me a favor and go and ask him what shape the Earth is.
Okay, so your proof is that Ken Hoban believes the Earth is a ball. So
No, I was just pointing out that the people
ask him how old the Earth is.
equating to it also all think that the Earth is a globe. Ptolemy that you cited says the Earth is a globe. NASA that you keep citing say the Earth is a globe.
You say
And
Ptolemy
Hoban,
says
who's the young Earth
the
creationist,
globe,
probably the
there's
most famous
some
young Earth
proof of that.
creationist in the world, thinks the Earth's a globe. You gave an A map, which is actually evidence of a globe. We talked about sextant and astrolabe, which only work on a globe.
They actually work just fine.
Remind me again, which side are you globe Earth or flat Earth? Because you've come with more evidence that the Earth's a globe. Well, actually, you only came with evidence that the Earth's a globe. You didn't bring any evidence that the Earth was flat. Was I supposed to do the flat side this time, James? Did I get it wrong? Sorry, my bad. I'll have to give myself a brain injury next time so I can actually do that.
We might go into Q&A here, folks.
Yeah, I do that.
You guys feel pretty good? Ready to rock and roll in Q&A?
Lovely.
Want to say thank you very much, everybody, for your questions. Want to remind you of a couple of things. One, I forgot to mention at the start, folks, we are super excited that we are on podcast. And so if that's useful to you, which, by the way, I'm super encouraged at the downloads, because when I started, I was so afraid that nobody would download it. But so many people have apparently found it useful, so we're thrilled about that. And if you happen to be listening via podcast right now, rating us really helps. And so we do appreciate your support on that. And let's jump into the Q&A. So our guests, of course, are linked to the description. So if you want to hear more in terms of kind of statements or positions, you certainly can at those links. But right now we're jumping into the questions. Throw the Dwarf, thanks for your question. This one coming in first says, does Fight the Flat Earth have any other channel he is a part of?
Oh, funny you should say that, because I do actually. I have a Dungeons and Dragons channel because I'm a fucking nerd, where Throw the Dwarf is someone that is over there quite often because my character, a barbarian dwarf, gets thrown around quite often, and we did actually kill someone. If you want to watch me be a nerd, every other Monday, head over to Globers and Goblins. Nice shill. Well done.
Gotcha, and thank you very much for your question from Steven Steen. He says, Kelper killed Tico with the candlestick in the library. Is that some sort of inside joke? Or
I think they're just talking about you murdering Flat Earth. I'm not sure.
Nasty guy. Kang024, thanks for your question, says, that presentation from the Flat Earther was one of the most terrible presentations I have ever seen. Thanks for keeping your criticism focused on the arguments or presentations rather than the people. Then they say, deluded doesn't even begin to describe that. IGER, I'm guessing you don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be deluded to think you come from a monkey and that came from a fish and that you live on a spinning ball.
No one thinks we came from a monkey.
Or a fish, bony fish. You can come from an amoeba. Best way I heard to describe this from Goo to You by way of the Sioux. So I think you have to be pretty deluded to believe everything the government's telling you. And, so it's all right.
Juicy.
Keep them coming, bro.
Thank you very much for your question. This one coming in from, we appreciate it, Kang024 as well says, James, I hate your channel, but I can't stop watching. It's like the car crash of debate shows. Keep up the great work. Thank you for your kind words. Oliver Catwell says, globe or flat, hit that like button to save the earth. Thanks so much, Oliver Catwell. We do appreciate that support, buddy.
If there is not at least 500 likes by the end of this stream, I will launch the nukes.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate your support out there, folks. And Jet Guitars says, would the Flat Earther hop in a plane to Australia with fuel that was calculated from the AE map, or would he rather use our fuel calculations?
The funny thing is all maps are flat, so when you're going to calculate distances, you're going to use a flat map.
You got it, and thank you very much for your question. This one coming in from Brian Williamson says, I'll fight everybody here. I like that optimism and that oomph Thank you. Standing for Truth says, great channel, James. Thanks for your kind words. Says, creation versus evolution debate right after this debate on my channel, Standing for Truth. Consider it an after show. James, keep up the good work, brother. Thanks for your kind words. Did you guys get to debate before Fight the Flat Earth, you and Standing for Truth?
God, possibly. Like I said, I've had over 500 debates. Standing for Truth. It sounds familiar.
I got a question. Like 500 people telling you that the moon landings are fake, the NASA's fake, and like how many people is it gonna take to convince you that you don't live on a spinning ball and come from a fish, man? And that God is real.
Well, Einstein once said that there's two things that are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and he wasn't sure about the universe. And what you have to remember, IGER, is that think about how dumb the average person is, right? And then think that half of the people in the world are dumber than that. And that's the part of the world that flat earthers reside in.
That's a sad world you live in. I actually think every human being.
All right, we got to jump into the next part. Thank you, Richard.
Sad outlook on life.
Richard Petrusev, thank you for your question. Said 3 questions for the flat earther. Why don't we see Polaris in Australia?
Just like a light post, you can't see it from like 5 miles away. It vanishes into your vanishing point. So once you get past the equator, you can actually see it below the equator to a certain extent. So that's actually a misconception. There's people that claim to be way below the equator and they can still see the North Pole star, so Polaris. So
next question.
Pretty interesting. They wouldn't be able to see it from below the equator if they lived on a spinning ball, but they can actually see it from Brazil. There's people that claim to see Polaris. So kind of interesting point. I could have touched.
Just because I hate rushing you, forgive me. It's just because they packed 3 questions in here. They said, why are naval spotters at the top of ships?
Oh, that's a good one, because the higher you go in altitude, the further you can see. And I mean, just if you had an ant that was crawling on a table, you wouldn't be able to see that far. But if you raise that ant to the ceiling, it could see real far. So that's just common sense.
Gotcha. And this next question coming, same person says, number 3, why is all navigation globe-based?
If you get a globe, if you ever take a trip or a flight and you take a globe with you, all the pilots and navigators are going to laugh at you. Every pilot, every navigator takes a flat map with them whenever they do any type of trip. Next time you go on the trip, take a globe and see how far you get.
Next up, Eric says, for the record, the earliest extant terrestrial globe was made in 1492 by Martin Behaim. This shows it was common knowledge in the 1500s.
Even though what's his name, Columbus, everybody laughed at him when he wasn't it the same year, 1492, that Columbus set up to America. And I think the globe he's talking about doesn't even have America in it, but
it didn't head up to America.
It does have America, but yeah, even in Columbus Day, which is the same date, everybody laughed at him because they knew that the Earth was flat and stationary. They thought he was gonna fall off the edge of the world. They didn't know that Antarctica was an ice wall around the Earth. So that's kind of funny that you would bring that up, and that kind of proves what I'm trying to tell you, Craig. That flat Earth theory, I mean the spinning baller theory, wasn't around back in the 1400s. That's why everybody laughed at Columbus. That's why everybody laughed at Columbus. That's why he had trouble.
No, you're absolutely wrong. It was absolutely, everybody understood that the Earth was a globe. Nobody thought the Earth was flat in the 1400s.
Copernicus didn't even come around to the 1500s. So I
doesn't
mean,
matter. They didn't think the Earth was flat in the 1400s. There is no evidence of that. You're making a claim. Hitchens razor says unless you can present evidence with that claim can be dismissed. Your claim is dismissed.
Since the super chat was originally targeting IGER, I'll give him the last word on that one, and then we got to go to the next one.
Yeah, you don't believe in the spinning ball. You don't come from a monkey or a fish. So God made you in about 6 days.
So I thought I was talking about the question that they just asked you, though, IGER. Okay, so FAQ2. Oh my gosh! I just realized it wasn't spelled that way. It was spelled FAH.
It takes you a second the first time you see it, doesn't it?
Very provocative. So basically, says IGER, do you know what a model is?
No.
A model. I mean, that you could be a lot of different models. So I gave the AE map.
I think I'll refine the question. Do you know what a scientific model is?
Like a male model, like Nathan Thompson?
No. It's like the globe, that's like a model there, I guess, is what you're getting at.
No. No.
Next
So the
up-
answer is no. You don't know what a model is, right?
Mike
Cool.
Billars, thanks for your. He said Nathan Thompson is a male model, so that counts. Mike Billars, thank you for your question. Said that's Fight the Flat Earth's favorite old buddy, Nathan. IGER, which causes the sun to illuminate exactly one half of the what? I'm sorry, guys, I butchered that. They said what causes the sun to illuminate exactly one half of the flat Earth at a time? Shouldn't a light illuminate a circular spot, not a watermelon slice?
Sure. I don't know if you could make my screen big. I'll just use the video I'm playing on my but either way, I mean,
You have to watch more of your
the sun is
videos.
not that far away.
Maybe do that, James.
No, it's cool. So the sun's not that far away, and there's a firmament up there. So as the sun is traveling, making its path throughout the year, it lights up. It lights up more or less, whatever. But the thing is, it's not that far away. Like a lot of ballers like to say, the sun should illuminate the whole flat Earth. But just like a light in the street doesn't illuminate the whole neighborhood, neither does the sun, because it's not that big. It's not 93 million miles away.
Yeah, light bulb doesn't.
It's not a million miles wide. It's a lot smaller.
Can I ask you a quick question, IGER?
Was it for me the question?
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question just about the firmament in general? Why do you think there's a firmament? Is it because it says firmament in the Bible?
That's one of the reasons, but actually,
okay. Let me just follow on from that question. Do you know what firmament originally means?
You asked me a question and just give me one word to respond. I
just needed a yes or no if you think it's from the Bible.
Not only because of the Bible, also because the rockets, they seem to run into something once they reach a certain altitude. And the third thing is we got these things called sun dogs, where they actually cause reflections of the sun. You see different.
Okay, right. Back to firmament and being from the Bible, which was my original point. Do you know that when you translate the word firmament back in the original Hebrew that the Bible was written in, it actually means expanse, not dome?
It's mentioned more than once, so you could take into account.
And it's literally a translation of the word expanse, not
it's also
the word
said
dome.
It's solid like molten glass. It's solid like brass or some type of metal at one point. So again, you're taking it out of context. I don't even think
I'm going with the original translation from the people. I've read the Bible. I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee I've read the Bible more times than you have.
Well, maybe you have, bro, and that makes it even weirder.
And many different versions of it as well.
How do you not believe in history, like the written history of those people? Like you just kind of dismiss it, and it's multiple people that wrote the book. But back to the firmament, bro. There's also these things called sun dogs. Oh, hold on, here comes my dog.
We must go to the next
Sun
question.
dogs only happen on the globe.
Thanks for your question. This one coming in from Mike Billars. No, we got that one. Jay Mixon, thank you, says Isaiah 40:22 describes the earth as a circle that is implied to be spherical in nature. Was the Bible incorrect about that? And they said this is for the flat earther.
Can you repeat the question?
So basically they're saying that in Isaiah 40:22 that's best interpreted as meaning that the earth is a sphere, and they're saying, is this, according to the flat earther, according to you, is it wrong in saying that the earth is a sphere?
Well, it actually literally says the word circle. So I don't know. And the other thing is in the same book, not too far after, I don't know what exact chapter or verse it is, but there was a word for ball. So he could have used the word ball as opposed to the word circle. Regarding the Bible and Isaiah. So there's actually a word for sphere, I believe, in the same book. This couple chapters later. So he could have used that word.
Next question. P.S. Irish Demon, saw you in the chat. Forgive me for being so, if this comes off as brash, but only because I hadn't got an email response. Nathan Thompson requested to debate you. Just letting you know. Just wanted to be sure that you actually got my email because I hadn't heard a response. But I know you might be busy, so don't feel pressured. Next up, thanks Esteban Ilabaca, says, for IGER, Saros predicts the day of an eclipse. Does it explain how they happen over a flat plane? What about lunar eclipses? Take your time.
Lunar eclipses, all right. I like it because actually when I came into the flat Earth, there was two things I couldn't explain. And eclipses, the lunar eclipses is one, but there's something called seleniline eclipses, which is the impossible eclipse, where there's a lunar eclipse with the sun still above the horizon, which destroys the heliocentric model because they're obviously both is still above the horizon. So the best conclusion is there's other objects up there that we can't see. They've been known as Rahu and Ketu, and then also they've been called the dark sun. So So yeah, there's other objects up there that we don't know about. And again, that goes into how does the sky work? How does the firmament work? According to Jesus, it's hard to explain, hard enough for us humans to understand how the world here works. He didn't get to explain to us how the heavenly bodies operated, if it's magnetism or how exactly everything operates up there. So
next up, this question in response to the question that was just asked to you, Iger. Jay Mixon says, Iger, what does the consensus in biblical academia interpret the quote-unquote circle in Isaiah 40:22 to be? So they're asking, what's the majority think?
Unfortunately, like most of us, we all been brainwashed since birth to believe that we live on a spinning ball. First thing they do is put a globe in the classroom. So that's why everybody in this day of age, the flat earth people are growing, the geocentric people are growing, the biblical cosmology people are growing. But unfortunately, most of us, like myself, it took me 35 years to even hear about it. I never even heard about the flat earth. So I believe I lived on a spinning ball most of my life, just like I expect the whole rest of the world to do, because the propaganda, which is controlled by 6 corporations that owns all the media, they control our point of view on a lot of different topics.
I just remembered something. Forgive me, you guys. We have a person who wants to argue that 9/11 was an inside job. We are looking for a person to take them on, namely a person who will argue, no, like 9/11 is pretty much the way that we understand it, namely a terrorist attack. And so if you happen to be one of if you take that position that I just described, please reach out to me via email at Modern Day Debate.
It's actually,
I ain't touching that with a 10-foot.
Oh man, a lot of people wake up to that or woke up to that because that was so long ago, 20 years ago. But that's actually one of the first conspiracies.
All right, that's not the topic, so I'm not going to let you talk about it.
Yeah, man, it was done by the bankers.
What we're going to do is want to let you know, folks. Yes, that's going to be an epic debate, and it's supposed to be next Saturday night. So let me know. I'm at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. Next question. Thank you very much. This one, Esteban Ilabaca.
One of your mods is, insinuating that I'm a transvestite and stuff. I mean,
gotcha.
That's very nice, actually coming.
Thanks
from a
for
mod.
letting me know about that. Mods. Oh yeah. Okay. So a mod is saying that. What's the name of the person?
You have any kids fight the flat earth?
Yes, I have 2 lovely children.
And you're gonna teach them that history is fake and God doesn't.
I teach on the truth.
I think a moderator already deleted it. I can't see it, but let me know because we do actually want to stop.
Oh, he's asking again. Next drag night, he says. 44 the truth. It's just lovely that this is the kind of stuff that flat earthers have to resort to, insinuating that I'm a transvestite and stuff, instead of attacking the arguments that I bring up. It's lovely. Thank you for showing what kind of people flat earthers are. 44 the truth. That's very helpful to everybody who's going to watch this video in the future, and the 620 people watching you be a horrific human being right now. Good job. Well done.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, 444 truth. We are not looking for attacks on our guests, as we actually do appreciate our guests, and we'd have to be stupid to just be like, yeah, we're just gonna like let it fly and let people trash the guests. If you want to trash me, fair game. Like I honestly don't care. 44 truth. Just want to let you know, like I don't care. Trash me, and I've asked the moderators to leave the insults of me alone, but don't trash the guests. Matthew Steele, thanks for your question, said, Iger TV, if the earth is flat, why haven't cats pushed everything off of it yet? Checkmate.
My cats would have.
That's interesting, but obviously there's an ice wall, so the cats will have to travel through all the way through Antarctica. We don't know how big Antarctica is regarding as a wall. So yeah, that's why it's almost impossible. Like nobody, there's not a 7-Eleven every 5 miles when you're in Antarctica, so God knows what kind of equipment you will need to try to find the firmament, where the firmament meets the ice wall. Some people think there's more continents on the other side.
I imagine LSD, something like that.
Next up, thank you very much for this question. Appreciate it. And yes, I did remove the mod status of the person that did that. So I saw somebody say that in the chat, and I'm like, I completely agree.
Just to be clear, I have no issues with transvestite at all. I just think using that as an attack on someone, it doesn't bother me, but calling somebody a transvestite as an attack is insulting to people that are trans and stuff. So, I mean, it's just an immature, stupid thing to do. And it's more annoying that you're actually trashing trans people than me. So it just shows what kind of person you actually are.
So next question, this one coming in from Richard Petrusev. Thank you very much. Said backwards.
Hey, dude.
They said backwards fight the flat earth. closer at bottom than at top.
Yeah, I did misspeak. Obviously, I with the bridge thing, I said closer at the top. Well, I meant further away at the top. My bad. I had a brain fart for a minute. Oh, whoa, wait. Flat Earther, pay attention. I just admitted when I was wrong. That's a thing that you can do, by the way.
Gotcha. And thank you very much for your question. This one coming in from Ozian. Thanks, Ozian, for your huge support, by the way. Seriously, that cheered me up last night. I don't know if you guys were here last night. It was a contentious debate. And, but Ozian, you seriously cheered me up despite that. So thank you. They said, IGER, why do we use the curve of the Earth in calculating power line protection for lines that are very long and they work all the time?
Yeah, I don't think they use curvature of the Earth for anything. Like I said, even when you're flying aircraft, which is the one moment where you think you will need it to take it into account. If you ever seen jets flying right above the ocean, they will have to take into account the curvature of the Earth, which is 8 inches per mile square for a ball the size 24,900 miles in circumference. So even pilots don't take it into account. They don't take it into account with building roads or anything like that. So that's just a misconception. And who knows? Probably got it from one of Greg's channel or one of his friends.
Next up, thanks very much. And do appreciate you guys holding people accountable in the chat. So thanks, everybody. And feel free to whistle.
I don't understand why people have to be like that. Like, how is that helpful to anybody? How is that going to make you look good? It doesn't make sense. If anything, it's the one thing they're not realizing is putting that in your chat could actually endanger your channel. That's something that Google doesn't stand for, and that kind of thing isn't just insulting to the people you're trying to be derogatory to, but it's also possibly damaging to the channel that you're supposed to be a mod on. I mean, what's wrong with you?
Next up, Daver, thanks for your question, said, fight the flat Earth. The picture of the Earth that you showed only shows Africa on one side of the sphere, so how could the rest of the continents and oceans fit on the other side of that picture of the Earth that you showed?
Again, I did show the you can either zoom in on something or be close to it, and that will make it look different. Where's the picture that I showed just now? I seem to have lost it. But give me one sec. I can't find it. I think no, there we go. Yeah. So as this is the same globe, right? Taken. I think it just changed the lens and moved distances. One side shows Africa to be covering most of it, and on the other, it shows Africa to look relatively smaller. It's just a matter of how far zoomed in you are. Not understanding, zoom and how you see a sphere based on how far away you are from it isn't a debunk of anything. It's simple. I'm showing you the same thing here right in front of you. Thank you to Tommy Grondale.
This is not the same thing because you're seeing a lot more content.
It totally is the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. What do you think would happen if you got even closer to that globe on the left?
You're seeing America. So yeah, it's definitely not the same thing.
What do you think would happen if you got even closer to that globe on the left?
You're not going to see the whole
stuff around the edges would disappear. Look at the one on the right. Okay, look how much of Russia you can see. All right, but the one on the left, most of Russia has actually disappeared now. It hasn't just vanished. It's still there. It's just your point of view, what you're able to see of the sphere has changed based on how close you are. I would break out the crayons, but I don't want to. James is trying to get through more pictures.
Yeah. Let's move on. Thanks. But yeah, this is definitely not the same picture.
Mike Biller says, thanks, Bob. And
thanks, Bob.
Sleepy Dan says, IGER keeps claiming the globe only has cartoons, so please show us real images of the whole flat Earth. Oh wait, all you have are cartoons and memes.
Actually, every picture you're ever gonna take that doesn't have a GoPro wide-angle lens camera is a picture of the flat Earth, because you can see the horizon as you go up. You can see even further. You can see the horizon there. The horizon's called a horizon because it's horizontal. It doesn't curve. So yeah. Every picture of the Earth, every picture you're ever going to take is going to prove a flat, stationary Earth at that. Because if it was moving 1,000 miles per hour or 66,600 miles per hour, it would be blurry. You wouldn't even be able to see it.
No, you're traveling the same speed.
Or you're not moving at all.
Next up,
relative motion is a thing.
Appreciate your question. Jay Mixon says, there was an episode of Dinosaurs where Robbie walked around the entire Earth to prove it's round. Boom.
Oh, don't get me started on dinosaurs, bro, because I'm one of those guys that think either they were big animals like birds that lived with mankind before the flood, or, the word dinosaur wasn't even invented until 1842 by Sir Richard Owen. Before that, every book calls them dragons, big lizards. So the word dinosaur wasn't even invented until 1842. And then they
Gotcha. And I don't think he was that serious about the dinosaur comment, but
I just want to throw that in there, James.
Okay.
Back to 9/11, the one world government, one world currency, one world religion. That's the three main goals for the Antichrist to come to power. Woo, it all ties together.
Just to keep it on topic, Magellan says, "Hi, Modern Day Debate. Wishing you lots of omnidirectionality and reasonality from Singapore. Thanks for your support, friend. We do appreciate it. And thanks for being. It's got to be morning in Singapore, I'm thinking. But we're pumped. Thank you so much." And John Himes says, "Fight the Flat Earth. Explain how you think there's an air pressure without a physical barrier. Just saying gravity doesn't work by the way, buddy."
Well, wrong, because gravity is the answer. It's experimentally verified that mass attracts mass, and that the equation Fg equals gm1m2 over r squared is correct. In fact, it was only a couple of days ago shown to be correct at the smallest gravitational measurement that they've ever made. So the atmosphere has mass. It accelerates towards the ground. You do not need a physical container to actually hold in gas pressure. All you need is an acceleration that you have to overcome. It's simple. It's not my fault if you deny gravity. I'm not going to also deny a fundamental force of the universe that has been experimentally verified.
Gotcha. And Farron Salas, thanks for your support, says, "Thanks, Modern Day Debate team, for providing Saturday night entertainment. Thanks, James, Fight the Flat Earth, and IGER for your time this evening. I couldn't agree more in terms of giving the guests credit. They are linked in the description, folks. So if this is somehow the first time that you've heard of them, hey, this is a great opportunity. Whether you're listening via podcast or YouTube, you can click on their links in the description box below. Thank you for your question. This one coming in from Matthew Steele says, "Fight the Flat Earth. Would you steelman the widely presented flat Earth quote-unquote argument to explain the reason that the whole world and all of science are lying to the public?"
I've never understood. I've been told by flat earthers that the reason is to have power over, if you can fool people and say the Earth's a globe, then you can control anything. Another reason I've been told by flat earthers is it's to hide God. I couldn't steelman it because I've never been given a cohesive answer from a flat earther myself. So unfortunately not.
That was actually a good answer. Yeah, definitely to hide God, because if you believe you come from a nothing explosion, it's different than God made everything in 6 days. And but yeah, that was good. And for money, I mean, $20 billion a year, that's just NASA. Then you got the whole
they just have a bunch of parties with hookers and blow, didn't you hear?
Musk. That's what Space Force that hasn't done anything. I don't know what the Space Force has done other than delete YouTube channel. They're more like the Cyber Space Force.
Gotcha. And folks, seeing like stuff in the chat, it's I think you've already been banned. Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm just like amazed that some of you guys are, I don't know what your problem is, because that's 1%. I just want to be clear that 99% of you are actually like pleasant and reasonable people in the chat, but like 1% of you will try to go off on people, and it's like, seriously, we are happy to delete you. We want you out if you're just gonna trash guests personally. It's not that hard to just trash the arguments instead of the guests. It's not that confusing. So anyway, next up,
call me an idiot or whatever, but don't try and insult me by using an LGBTQ like definition as an insult. That's not insulting to me. It's insulting to them because you're trying to use it as an insult. Don't be such a horrific person.
Next up, this one coming in from C4 said, "What a beatdown. Hit the thumbs up. Fight the Flat Earth. Check your DMs." And
yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. This one coming in from, sorry guys, I got sidetracked. This one coming in from Matthew Steele said, oh, we got that one. General Ballsack, appreciate it, said, "Fight the Flat Earth. What constitutes a model, and how could a flat earther prove his model to you?"
Well, like I said, a model has to have predictive capabilities and be able to explain multiple phenomena. You have to not only just go, yeah, this is roughly right, but given it maybe an explanation of the mechanics behind it, it has to be a mathematical representation of reality that can be verified. And that's something that Flat Earth never has. They can sometimes explain individual phenomena. They can at least say this is going to happen in this order or something, but they can never explain multiple phenomena happening at the same time with a cohesive model of any kind.
Next
Again, the planisphere, the astrolabe, all these are instruments we use to
only work on a globe
of the sky. We have instruments that predict, and that's the same
no model
that you think NASA is using, but they're actually using the same instruments to predict the same events.
You giving more evidence to the globe. Thanks for that, dude. I do appreciate you doing my job for me.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Yeah, the Polaris never moves. The constellations haven't changed in the 6,000 years of written history.
Sorry, what? Hold on. Polaris doesn't move. Then why is it recorded in almanacs as moving over the centuries? Why are the star positions different now? So much so they had to change the star signs. Why don't the guide stones and stuff line up above the pyramids and everything anymore? Why? So yeah, the stars do move. You're absolutely wrong in everything you say. If you would like more details on that, go to mc2.net/Polaris.
The constellations haven't changed.
Yes, they have. They absolutely have changed. Why do you think they had to change the actual astrology signs?
Even if you look at NASA, it's going to tell you they change every 250,000 years. They haven't changed at all because Earth is only 6,000 years old. So they got to go far away.
So if you want measurements of it happening over the past few, maybe 10 centuries, go to mc2.net/Polaris, where there is historical almanacs that sailors have used to chart the positions of the stars changing over history. Sorry, you're wrong.
I would say you're wrong, and the constellations.
I've got evidence, though. You've just got none. So
next up, what I do want to do is jump in the next one. Magellan says the AE map works perfectly if you use the latitude longitude lines, which therefore then proves it's a projection of a globe.
Yeah, I would say that the AE map has been around before the globe. So all that does is prove that the
globe's always been around.
Was reverse engineered from the AE maps.
Next up, Isaiah 40:22 says, I flat smack in the real world with lots of success, but I do find theory believers like Craig who love TNASA/Satan.
Yeah, NASA is nothing to do with Satan, and I don't have a belief in Satan, so it's very hard for me to love him. Interesting.
Next up,
actually founded by this
B1. I wanna give him the last word on that one. B1 6th Street Burner says, Iger, can you explain the observation of the sun during the summer solstice from the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer? Fight the Flat Earth could you please explain afterwards? Love modern day debates. Kudos, James. Thanks for your kind words, friends, and our friend. And thank you, Iger, for jumping on this question. Your best shot at, can you explain the observation of the sun during the summer solstice from the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the one when it's right in the middle of everything, so everybody gets to see it. Set at the same, like we all have 12-hour days or whatnot. So it's right at the middle of the equator or whatever.
Gotcha. Next up, Magellan, thanks for your question, said, how is the sky able to form? Let's see. He said it must take Olympic efforts to be, okay. Magellan, we're looking for, please don't insult the guests, though I appreciate your support of the channel. JT6 Mania says, Fight the Flat Earth, do you have curvature measurement proof of masses attracting or time-space bending?
Yes.
Do you have proof of gas pressure without a physical container?
That's a straw man. Right. So let's go one point by point there. Measurement, proof of measurements of curve. Yes. Go to mc2.net/R. There's an entire list of measurements of the curve done throughout history that will correlate with each other. What was the next point?
You got it. Thanks. The next question was, do you have proof of gas pressure without a physical container?
Well, that's a straw man. There is no gas pressure without a container. No one says that. Gravity is the container. And I think you also asked about proof of mass attracting mass. Well, yes, there is much experimental evidence of that. Like I said, recently they measured it with the most accuracy ever using 2 millimeter gold spheres, and tested the gravitational attraction between that using the Cavendish torsion balance. You also asked about any proof of bending space-time. Yes, that would be the Eddington experiment of 1919, where they predicted the shift in the position of the stars during the eclipse, and lo and behold, that's what actually happened. So yes, to all those things, I can do them, no worries.
Gotcha. Next up, thank you for your... Oh, they also asked, is there proof of time-space bending?
Yeah, that's the Eddington experiment of 1919.
Gotcha. And then Richard Petrusev says, flat Earth part of Brazil is in the northern hemisphere. Or no, they're saying flat earther. So they're saying IGER. Part of Brazil is in the northern hemisphere.
All right. That's cool. But I've seen many reports where they can see Polaris from below the equator, far enough where it would have made sense for it to be on a spinning pair or whatever
not
it is.
one ever.
The other kids nowadays they live in.
Gotcha. NOXD says, IGER, that makes no sense to me and goes against my beliefs. Therefore, they're saying, okay, so they're quoting you. They're saying, IGER says, that makes no sense to me or goes against my beliefs. Therefore, it's not true, unquote. Is an incredulity fallacy, they're saying. Why do you claim evolution is wrong?
Oh, because nobody's ever seen it. We've never seen a monkey evolve
Incorrect.
into a monkey. Nobody's ever seen a chicken evolve into anything other than a chicken. Nobody's ever seen a cow evolve into anything other than a cow. So yeah, there is some adaptation, or what they call a micro evolution that happens, where you can turn a wolf into a chihuahua, but you're never gonna turn a dog into a human, and we're never gonna see it happen. If so,
says, but there actually is demonstrations within our lifetime of species evolving into other species. The London Underground mosquitoes being an excellent example of becoming an entire another species through evolution. So again, unsurprisingly, you are wrong.
What species did they become?
They became an entire new species of mosquitoes.
Oh, so a mosquito turned into a mosquito.
A completely different species of mosquito. You understand what I'm saying? An entirely different species. You get that, right?
You turn a wolf into a chihuahua, but you can't turn a chihuahua into a wolf, and because you're only losing everything.
There is also evidence of whales becoming. There's also evidence of land mammals becoming whales through fossils and stuff. So again, you're wrong. You don't understand anything.
So your best proof of evolution is a mosquito becoming a mosquito. All right, thank you so much.
Is evolution actually happening? That's my evidence, yes.
Next up, Joe Blogs, thanks for your question, said, fight the flat earth. How many, let's see, it's not quite a serious question. Robert Russell, thanks for your question, said, I'm a navigator with thousands of flight hours. We do use flat charts or maps. However, we navigate using orthodromic navigation or great circle navigation. Do you understand great circle navigation? I think that's for you, IGER.
I mean, if it's talking about the circles of the, like the AE map has different circles, then I mean, gosh, that just, they're gonna say it's for the curve, so they're adjusting for their latitude, longitude, assuming they live in the globe, but it's really because east and west are not the way we've been taught. It's more of a circular pattern than it is a curvature pattern.
Next up, this one coming in from Robert Russell said, oh, got that one. Blade Runner 0001 says, I'm wondering if that was IGER throwing the bottle off the edge in, quote, The Gods Must Be Crazy. I've never seen that movie. But have you, IGER?
Gods Off the Edge? No, I'm going to have to check it out. What's the name of the movie?
The Gods Must Be Crazy is what it's called, I guess.
Never seen it, bro. Never seen it.
Next, Mike Menzie says, if we can see craters on the moon at 240,000 miles away with a $500 camera, why can't we zoom in from the ISS and see people walking sideways? Hashtag flat.
They're a lot smaller. ISS isn't about taking pictures of the Earth. We can't actually see the entire Taka crater. We can just see kind of the lines around the outside of it, and like a darkness, we can't resolve the actual crater itself, especially not with the naked eye. However, there is cameras that have been powerful enough from space in satellites to zoom in and pick up individual people. Just because they don't specifically have it on the ISS doesn't mean that it's fake. And to say #flat after citing the ISS is incredibly dumb.
Because the ISS is just
I believe that was to you.
in Texas. That's why.
No, it's been measured by a friend of mine to be exactly where it is. So
that works for you. I know. The guy that
measurements, physical measurements actually work. Yes, they do. You're right.
Yeah, the guy that works for you measured it, and that's true. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Right, I mean, he didn't work for me at the time.
Revolution. Moving on.
Next up, Ozian says, "No, Iger, I am a power systems engineer who has done the math, tested the schemes, and seen them work correctly. Are you just calling me a liar instead? It has zero to do with NASA."
I mean, what did he say? What did he claim to have done?
Let me. He said, well, I'll read his original super chat. So he said, in his original one, he said, "Why do we use the curve of the Earth in calculating power line protection for lines that are very long and they work all the time?" And then their follow-up, you must have said something about NASA, because he said, "No, Iger, I'm a power systems engineer who has done the math and tested the schemes and seen them work correctly. Are you just calling me a liar instead? It has nothing to do with NASA."
Yeah, I don't know the guy personally. I don't want to call him anything, but there is no curvature to the Earth. There is no 8 inches per mile squared, which would be the formula for a ball 24,900 miles. So yeah, that's all.
You know, that's chord measurements, right?
Huh?
You know, the 8 inches per mile squared is chord measurements, and actually, if you map it out, makes a parabola, not a sphere. The correct formula the correct formula you're looking for is H equals R times 1 minus cos A. So it's not your fault that you've listened to Eric Dubay and been indoctrinated by morons. That's not your fault. Don't worry.
No. But again, this whole parabola thing comes from a misunderstanding. I actually debated a guy for over an hour just on the 8 inches per mile squared. The correct formula is actually 7.98 inches per mile squared, which will be accurate for a ball 24,900 miles in circumference.
No, that still makes the parabola.
Here for us is 8 inches per mile square. The other problem was that they were dividing instead of multiplying.
Next up, Brian Williamson says, "Will you both fight each other in a boxing match?"
I'll take him out.
No. Why would I fight physically when I can just dominate him intellectually? It's more fun.
Gotcha.
Right. We don't condone violence here.
OG Goblin. Next
I'm hoping to change his mind, or plus anybody on the chat, because definitely great.
You would need evidence to be able to change my mind. And
we must go to the next one. It was just a play. They don't really want you to fight. Okay, so OG Goblin says, "How come nobody can show proof of this ice wall, even with satellites?"
Yeah, you could just Google up Antarctic ice wall, and a lot of images come up. So it was circumnavigate.
Yeah, so I've been to McMurdo Station in Antarctica, and there is definitely no ice wall.
Yeah, there's a lot of different stations in Antarctica, and they're as credible as the International Space Station.
Yeah,
Agent Smith, number 2727 says, "Iger, tell how birds are not real."
Birds are real.
Gotcha.
No, they're not. They're spy drones replaced by the government in 1974. Are you an indoctrinated sheep that thinks birds are actually real? Oh my God, you have just been listening to the government indoctrination your whole life. Tell me, have you ever seen a real bird give birth to another bird? No. Birds are all drones replaced by the government in 1972 to spy on us, and you can't tell me any different.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a bird give birth to a dog?
Next up, Richard.
Exactly, they're all drones.
Richard Petrusev says, "You only see further when increasing altitude on a curved surface. On a flat Earth, you would see less because your eyes angular resolution."
And that's ridiculous. Like I explained earlier, you can do this for yourself if you just have a simple drone you could buy. You could definitely see a lot further just by raising your altitude level, and that's ridiculous. Like I said, an ant on the table, you can't see to the end of the table, but if you raise the ant up 3 feet above the table, he can see the whole table. So it's a ridiculous argument. And the table's flat, by the way, just like the Earth.
Gotcha. And Jay Mixon says, "For the record, Iger, Dinosaurs, quote unquote, is a 90s TV sitcom. It was really good. Gotcha. Thank you for that.
I miss believing in like Littlefoot and the dinosaurs and
No,
yeah.
that's the wrong dinosaur family. Okay, John Hymes says, fight the flat earth. Gravity is nothing but incoherent electromagnetism that actually decreases with the increase in size of mass.
What a load of babbling nonsense. No, it absolutely is not. That would determine some difference in material and acceleration. Coulomb's law, which would be what that was based on, describes a repulsive and attractive force, whereas gravity only ever describes an attractive force. No, absolutely not. We can measure electromagnetic signals, and also what you're implying means that gravity would stop working inside a Faraday cage, which it doesn't.
Gotcha.
I agree with the comment. Gravity's just a theory. It's never been.
Yeah, but what the fuck do you know? So.
Yeah, and but yeah, gravity's just a theory, never been proven. Newton's gravity pulls everything to the center of the Earth, while Einstein's gravity
all the experiments, of course,
following the curvature of
whatever
space and time. So neither is real. You can't prove any of them. And then I do find the whole.
Look, if you like, you can just say I don't understand, and it'd be a lot quicker for all of us.
Newton's gravity pulls everything to the center of the mass, and then you got Einstein's gravity, which follows an object following the curvature of space-time.
Yeah, and they both describe exactly the same thing.
Because
there's an experiment been done like a couple days ago or weeks ago, and they tested a little bit of gravity. Never heard of it, but whatever.
That's your question.
Sorry.
It's probably done by one of your workers.
Because the question was originally for Fight the Flat Earth, I want to give him the last word, then we'll go to the next one.
It's okay. Gravity's been experimentally verified. I'll quickly say 5 experiments that show it. You've got Cavendish experiment, the Schehelian experiment, the Eddington experiment of 1919, the Pound replica experiment, and the oh wait, that was 5. Yeah, no, that's all.
Gotcha. And this next one coming in from Becker TP says, IGER explained the 24-hour sunlight below the Antarctic Circle from September to March. The sun goes from spotlight to magically wrapping around the entire outside of the flat Earth model.
Right, and the only videos I ever seen of a 24-hour sunlight in Antarctica. Now you can see them from the northern hemisphere, which will make sense on the flat Earth. But I've seen some videos of the southern hemisphere with the 24-hour sunlight, and they're all from Antarctica. And since only the government NASA bases are in Antarctica, I don't trust them.
Murdo base is a NASA base. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you got it. Government.
Next up, this one coming in
for you, and they wouldn't lie to you.
Next one, Jay Mixon says, IGER, although you got demolished tonight, and I don't believe a word you said, you're a cool guy, and I'm glad both you and Fight the Flat Earth gave us a great show.
Thank you.
He's happy.
Nice.
But
And
I like, my favorite part was when he said mosquitoes turn into mosquitoes, and that proves evolution.
next up, JT6 Mania says, the experiment you mentioned proves electrical current attraction, not gravity.
Incorrect.
Fight the Flat Earth.
That couldn't happen with gold. So no. If you search for smallest measurement of gravity ever, you'll find an article about the recent extremely accurate measurement of gravity that was done using 2 millimeter gold spheres with an insanely small mass, but they were still able to measure the gravitational attraction between those masses.
Gotcha.
And that isn't explained with electromagnetism or anything like that. So no.
It could be, actually.
This one coming in from
Oh,
Mike
really?
Menzie. Thank you, Mike. Says no footage of International Space Station being built. Pictures of
Yes,
people
sir.
from quote-unquote space are from drones. You're citing gravity for all your answers. It's never been proven.
Never.
By the experiments I just mentioned, of course.
Next up, Tim Pryor says, heck with Antarctica. How does Alaska get 67 days of night in 80 days of of daylight
Magic.
on flat Earth?
Right, and then so when the sun is moving around the Tropic of Cancer, which is the closer circle, then it will make perfect sense. You can also see 24-hour daylights from Iceland, and I've talked to a lot of people, but again, only Antarctica has 24-hour daylight, according to a couple videos that you see from Antarctica that have been poorly edited, and you can see where they clip them and stuff like that. So yeah, there's, as far as I know, from no continent in the southern hemisphere, which actually has population, they do not experience 24-hour sunlight. It's only in Antarctica, and it's only from one of the government-controlled bases. If you guys don't know about the Antarctica by now, after debating 500 people, then you know there's been a treaty in place by corporations and governments to not allow people to explore.
Next up, the Crawdaddy 029
I can just say you've never read that, have you? So it's cool.
The Crawdaddy 029 says, it's the strangest thing. IGER says NASA photos are a lie, but Google ice wall photos are real? Are you serious, IGER?
Well, yeah, you take into account also the people that have circumnavigated the globe, like Magellan, and they always stop around. Nobody can circumnavigate the globe crossing the Antarctica. It's only
have you not heard of One More Orbit that did it about a year and a half ago? Interesting that you wouldn't have actually looked that up for a circumnavigation of the globe going over Antarctica, because that's exactly what the One More Orbit team did. And do you know what else? They live streamed the entire thing. Amazing that it's never been done, except for it was live streamed. That's incredible.
Yeah. So how long did it take them if it was live streamed? This must be like a ridiculously long video. How badly?
I'm not sure the exact times. Anyone can just go and look up the One More Orbit team and see what they did for themselves. But to say it's never been done is a ridiculous assertion when it was done and live streamed.
You said it's been done once about a year ago. I'll watch it, but
it's been done many times, but everyone complains that there's no records, blah 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 blah. Someone did it.
Look at the entire
thing,
skipping through the wall and coming right back out. So that's when you look at
Pac-Man. It's called Pac-Man physics. That's what they do. See, they go off one side and they magically teleport to the other.
They travel through the wall and then come back up on the other side, but they don't actually cross Antarctica. They're just skipping through.
Please tell me you're being sarcastic right now. Please.
No, they're skimming
love
through
of all that is holy. Tell me you are being sarcastic right now and not making a serious statement. Because if you are making a serious statement, I am taking that as a short and putting it on my channel.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it. Put it as a shot. I'm gonna put the whole.
Next up.
Could you say it again for me? One sec, James, please. Could you just say it again for me? What happens?
People go down to Antarctica, they skim through the coastline and come back on the other side. They don't cross the southern pole. Now, I haven't heard about this one world orbit thing that you're talking about. What's it called again?
One More Orbit.
One More Orbit. I haven't heard about them, but by the name of it, it sounds like they're related to NASA, RAXA, JAXA.
No, not in the slightest.
Because it's one word orbit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's just the name of what it was called. Right. Sorry, James, for interrupting you.
No,
I wonder who funded them, and are they affiliated?
Yeah, all the details are on their website. It was privately funded.
Privately funded by the government, and their subsidiaries.
No, that's not what privately funded.
Like Fight the Flat Earth.
Right, dude, you can just stop talking at any time. It's perfectly okay to stop.
Very works for. So yeah, it seems like you guys are all, that's kind of fishy. But all right.
Yeah.
Next question.
We're all connected. Karen and HR.
Brian Leake says, Fight the Flat Earth, what in the globe repeats every 18 years, matching lunar eclipses?
The lunar eclipses.
IGER, they say, come to Brandon's Flat Earth channel if you are near Jacksonville, Florida, to discuss tests.
Isn't Brandon a flat earther?
That's what they say.
Yeah, he wants you to go over there and discuss tests.
Amazing. And B-Ball for Life.
I actually had a discussion with Brandon earlier on my channel, and it was relatively pleasant, even though he's wrong. He wasn't quite as dumb as this guy, that's for sure.
That's the guy that thinks a mosquito turning into a mosquito proves evolution. All right, moving on.
That's exactly what evolution is, but
mosquitoes turning into mosquitoes.
You don't understand evolution, that's no problem.
B-Ball for Life says, hey, Flatty, why do you people... Sorry. Hey, Flatty, why do people looking south in South Africa and people looking south in Australia see the same star rotation, which would be looking in different directions on the flat Earth view?
Because it's a different time of the day. So if you don't know how to plan it, I mean, you can buy a planisphere for $12 on eBay. We mapped out all the stars a long time ago. We live in a geocentric, flat stationary world. The North Star hasn't moved.
Again. Cool.
And yeah, the constellations haven't changed. According to NASA, they changed 250,000 years ago. But if the Earth is only 6,000 years old,
No, NASA agreed that the stars have changed. That's wrong.
All right, disagree.
Next up, thanks to your question, this one coming in from OG Goblin says, which of the two guests have a physics degree? And I'm out.
Oh, just me then.
Next. This one coming in from Becker TP. To James, why am I spending money trying to get honest answers from someone who can deflect any criticism with, quote, it's part of the conspiracy? Right. So that is why we are pretty flexible about letting the other debater jump in. And so I usually, if you feel like Fight the Flat Earth didn't pressure IGER enough, then I have to let you know that, like, that's the risk you're taking, because as a moderator, it's just too subjective, where it's like, whose feet am I going to hold to the fire? And it's just, so we let the debaters do that. And so thanks for your question. Richard Petrusev says, to quote CHL, guard polar bears and spy seals.
CHL also makes an excellent point that there would need to be the largest known naval fleet ever guarding the ice wall. That would be impressive.
Gotcha. And thank you very much for your question. JT6 Mania says, Fight the Flat Earth. So you're telling me that gold, when exposed to electrical current, doesn't produce a magnetic field? Cavendish
proves... Gold is itself not inherently magnetic, no.
And then they say, Cavendish proves an attraction with opposite charges and a repellent force with the same charges.
Incorrect. You can literally do it with wood and still get the same thing. Like I said before, using the equation, that Coulomb's equation for electromagnetism, it doesn't work because that counts as an attractive and a repulsive force. The equation for gravity explains what's going on. The hypothesis is that mass is attracting mass, and that is what you can test. There is no electromagnetic force that you can measure that is causing this attraction based on the distance and mass of the objects. Sorry, no, that is not what it is testing. And the fact that you can do it with many different materials and get exactly the same results completely disproves your hypothesis that it could be an electromagnetic attraction of any kind.
Thank you. And OG Goblin says, LOL through the wall.
Mosquitoes turn into mosquitoes.
Next up, thank you for your question. That was it for those questions.
Yes.
I want to say, let me just double check. I didn't miss any there. Thank you guys for your questions. We do want to remind you, our guests are linked in the description so that you can hear or read plenty more where that came from. And so we do appreciate our guests. We want to say thank you so much to them. You guys, it's been a true pleasure. Thank you very much, IGER and Fight the Flat Earth. This was entertaining indeed.
I had great fun. Thank you for having me on, James. I always enjoy coming here and ruining Dunning-Kruger incarnate. Any luck on getting not Dr. Sugenis to come back?
I will ask if we can set that up. I am very serious. I will ask. I don't know if he's going to want to come back, but I will ask.
Movie clips for him. I promise not to play any movie clips. But I'm not going to go easy on him.
You should watch this movie.
I watched that back, James. I watched that back. And your face the moment I play that clip, you're like, nope, that's it. It's over.
Yeah, I'm a huge Billy Madison fan, so I totally, that clicked for me quickly. Richard Petrusev, sorry I missed your question, said, did I read this? You only see further when increasing altitude.
Yeah, you did read that one.
Okay. A new one just came in. Endernex, thank you, or EndoXD, thank you for your question. Says, we have radiometric dated many things older than 6,000 years old.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get into the whole carbon hoax dating being a lie, the potassium argon dating being a lie. So, yeah, these are faulty bias methods that have been used by cellular scientific creation, which is the Earth is only about 6,000 years old, was made by God in 6 days, like the Bible says. There was a flood, Noah's flood, about 4,400 years ago. They actually produced most of the fossils we have today. If a cat dies on the street today, it's going to turn into dust. Animals are going to eat it. Things needed to be buried and pressurized in order to fossilize. And that's where most of our fossils come from. It's from Noah's flood, not billions and billions of years.
Gotcha. Now, Want to say, folks, thank you so much. We will be back with a post-credit scene in which I will be talking about upcoming debates that we are excited for. And so, hey, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button for many juicy debates, including, as Fight the Flat Earth had mentioned, we will be trying to set up a round 2, a Rocky versus Apollo Creed second match between Fight the Flat Earth and Sun Genis. So that should be
the centrist that thinks the Earth's a globe.
So
you should watch this movie, The Principal. It's actually a good gateway to.
I have. It's hilarious. Oh my god, that movie is one of the best comedy things I've ever seen.
But yeah, I actually look forward if he does come back because I enjoy watching you guys' debate. Except I felt like you interrupted him every it seems like you do that a lot. Like you ask a question.
More than I interrupted him.
So yeah. But I'll say my closing statement real quick. It's just a couple prayers. The sinner's prayer for all the Christians in the chat is, God, please grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the strength to change the things we can, the wisdom to know the difference. And this is the sinner's prayer for Craig and all the other atheists in the chat. If you want to come to Jesus Christ, it's, dear Lord Jesus, I know that I'm a sinner and I ask for your forgiveness. I believe you died for my sin and rose from the dead. I turn from my sins and invite you to come into my heart and life. I want to trust and follow you as my Lord and Savior. Biggest conspiracy there is the one world government.
All right, Iger, I have to be honest. It's incredibly rude to not know the format and just pretend as if there's an opening statement. It just looks kind of sketchy, like to do it like that. So, out of fairness to Fight the Flat Earth, I'll give him a chance to respond in his own closing. But I am a little bit like, are you serious that you're just gonna launch into it like that without because fight? It's just, yeah. Fight the Flat Earth, if you want to give your own super short, just like the super short one from Iger, we can give you a chance to give your own closing statement.
The holy words of the Green Lantern Corps: in brightest day, in darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. That's all.
Gotcha. And Richard Petrusev says, Venti cares not for your prayers. Give us evidence. Venti, like Brittany Venti? Anyway, I'm just kidding. I don't think he means Venti. But want to say thanks, everybody. We appreciate you for hanging out with us. And we want to let you know we are super excited for upcoming debates, which I'll be talking about during our post-credit scene. And so thanks, everybody, for that. And we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you guys very much for hanging out. We are stoked and want to let you know about upcoming debates as well as all sorts of different things in terms of channel housekeeping. We really do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I want to say hi to all of you. Brian99XT, thanks for being with us. Colossians29, thanks for hanging out. Jay Mixon, thanks for being with us. Truth Begets Heresy, appreciate you. Jane Casper, thanks for being here. And yeah, I am so excited, you guys, for the future. And so, let's see. C4, thanks for being with us. Master Optics, glad you're here. And Eric Nelson, good to see you. And MC Toon, glad to see you as always. Hopefully we'll see you on soon. Albert Bitcoin, always glad you're here. And Extra J, thanks for hanging out as well. And let's see. Endo XD says, James, we're going to have an after show party. If by that, well, I could have sworn. Did someone email me about an after show today? I honestly can't remember. I might have to check that. Forgive me. But want to let you know about upcoming debates. We are really excited, you guys, as there are going to be a lot of juicy ones coming up. It's going to be a truly fun one. And so want to let you know on this coming Monday, we'll probably have a debate on Old Testament slavery. We will then, I think, on Friday maybe have another flat earth debate. It depends on if we can get it arranged, but I think we're going to get it arranged. It might take a little like polling because someone might not want to debate somebody else. We don't know. We're going to find out. But thank you guys so much for being with us. And Random Video says, James just said that's not allowed, namely for people to like share their religious views. Random Video is like, honestly, you're really undermining your own credibility. I never said that people can't like preach or pray whatever they want in their opening statements, but when they just create like quote unquote, oh, I'm going to make a closing statement right now, when it's like that wasn't part of the format that we agreed to, that's where it's like, bro, you look like just kind of rude and trying to force this. And so honestly, if he would have said exactly what he wanted to say, such as a prayer or whatever it is, in his opening statement, which was like statements that were already agreed to, like that, I would even say people have done that before. I think I remember like Cy Gart was a Christian who like opened with a prayer before. And it's like, that's fine. But like when people do this, like, oh, I'm going to make a statement, I'm going to do a closing statement that was not a part of the format and just launch into it. In the interest of fairness, I was going to let Fight the Flat Earth go as well, and which I did. But just want to let you know, I mean, you're honestly embarrassing yourself. You look like you have absolutely no justification behind what you're saying when you try to make it seem as if I'm trying to squelch prayer. So you're a liar, you're dishonest, and you really are embarrassing. But we're glad you're here. I mean, I really do. You can talk as much smack about me as you want, and I will not delete your comments because we really do. We want it to be open here. So Esoteric Eric, thanks for being with us. Do appreciate you being with us. Says, let's see. Fight the Flat Earth won at hominem attacks. James said nothing. Nice. I'm confused. But yeah, basically, we really do appreciate you hanging out with us. And so, B-Ball for life. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry. Said James, you missed my other super chat. I am seriously sorry. You're 100% right. I remember seeing that one, and I'm seriously sorry about that. I'm really sorry. I'm dead serious. Email me at moderndaydebate@gmail.com, and I will send you whatever the amount was for that super chat. I will send it to you via PayPal because we do want to keep our promise about reading those. And I'm sorry. You're right. I missed that one. I'm sorry. Richard Petrusev says, one last super chat. Venti is a god from the game Genshin Impact, who's a lot nicer. Let's see. They say is nicer than the Christian god. It was a joke about how their god is just as quote unquote real. Gotcha. I've never heard of that. And let's see. But yeah, let's see. Glad to see you, Pedro HM, Marion Grand Bruheim. Thanks for being with us. Michael Kahn, thanks for hanging out with us. Seth Millard, glad you're here. C4. And Joseph Turcott, good to see you again. But yeah, we're pumped about the future, you guys. And so thank you guys so much for all of your support. It really does mean a lot. Janthelia Baggins says, hey, James, did you get a chance to talk to Matt after the debate last night? No worries if you don't want to get into it. I might reach out to him after a few days and just say, hey, I know that was a rowdy one. But I honestly, the way I interpreted it was that Matt was just like saying, like, I'm just not going to come back, period. I didn't think of it as a threat. So I just kind of have already kind of figured the door is closed in Matt's perspective. From my perspective, the door is open. Like we're open to having Matt come back, but I kind of took him at his word and when he said that he's not going to come back. So I don't know. But yeah, we do appreciate you hanging out here. Doctor Who, thanks for being with us. Nephilim Free, it's been a while. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Really do mean that. Alan H., thanks for being with us. Deadly Dave, glad you're here. And let's see. Yeah, let's see. Megan Satanis, good to see you again. And let's see. Thanks, Albert Bitcoin says, hi, James, and everyone here. Thanks for being with us. Fight the Flat Earth says, thanks for having me on. Thanks, Fight the Flat Earth, for being on. I really do appreciate you. Seriously. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for hanging out with us. And let's see. Jamie Russell says, how about a Christian physicalist versus an atheist dualist debating the nature of man? Now, that's actually a cool idea. I definitely agree. That would be fun. I don't know of any atheist dualists. If they're out there, we'll host them, but I honestly didn't know if there were any. Bob Nodals, Gyroscope, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Eric Nelson, thanks for being with us. Thanks for your kind words, buddy. And let's see. Reservoir of Gore said, my neighbor said he's going to Mount Fuji to prove flat Earth. I had to stop him. Fuji is my French. Let's see. Okay. Nasty guy. But yeah, thank you guys for your support, for all of your likes and things like that. That's encouraging and it helps the channel. We really do appreciate that. And let's see, just catching up with the chat. Sorry, it's moving fast on me, guys. Random Video says, okay, sorry. Thank you, Random Videos, for owning it and just your humility. I appreciate you being that way. Seriously, I really do. So I really do appreciate that. Seriously. And let's see. Ken Amy says, I think there's a debate this Tuesday. There is. Thanks for getting me back on track with announcing upcoming debates. Tuesday, we are pumped as Skylar and Ken Amy are going to be debating whether or not theism or atheism provides a better foundation for ethics. That should be juicy and fun, and so we're looking forward to that. Thank you, Colossians 2:9, who said thank you, and thanks to the guests. Thank you for saying that. That seriously does mean a lot. And let's see. Did what say something that was like worse than what I saw? They said sheeple ball leavers want to accept false evidence. I don't know. I'm kind of like, are we really going to say like that is inappropriate now? I don't know. Maybe they said something else. And there's another one that was deleted. Let's see. I don't want to delete. Let's see. I really do want to be strict on like, did what question mark say anything bad? Because I don't want them to be banned unless they like made a direct attack on a speaker. So obviously we talked an example already tonight. If you're like making fun of a speaker's appearance, it's like, okay, we're not in like 4th grade. We want better than that. But if it's something like, oh, that speaker was like, they failed or they won or whatever, like, I'm like, I don't think that's, I don't know if we have to go that far in terms of, I don't think they're attacking the person. But yeah, let's see. Thank you. Endo XD says, last night was an interesting mess. Yes, it was. You're right about that. Genthelia. Oh yeah, that's right. I got your question. Thank you for asking it too. Let's see. Extra J, thanks for being with us. Ophir, thanks for your kind words. Says James is totally fair. I appreciate that. Seriously, it means a lot. Oh, I see. Let's see. I see what said. Okay. Yeah, like the stuff about like people's like sexual preference of like if they tend to like men or women, like that's something that's like it's not something we want you to attack about the speakers. Like that will get you banned. So just, I mean, I think that should be obvious, you guys. That's like a personal attack. Let's see. NOXD says, should you be stopping the debaters when the ad hominems start? There was a lot tonight. Yeah, so here's the trick. I do wonder about that. There is some might argue like, hey, like the speakers are the speakers, like they're getting in the hot seat. And so they have more freedom to say what they want because like, don't get me wrong. We love people hanging out here in the chat, but like, it's true. Like being in the debate is a lot more taxing or, kind of a bigger, you're in the hot seat more so than just being in the chat. And so, thank you, Brooke Chavis, for letting me know about the Twitch chat. I completely forgot about that. Sorry about that. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, I didn't know we were buffering. Is that what you're saying? Is that we're buffering on Twitch? I didn't know that. So that's what I think was being said. Wow, isn't this weird that this one super chat from Richard Putrasev is not going away in my window? It's just like stuck up there for eternity. That's weird. But yeah, let's see. So I am like, frankly, I do think that there is, some people would say, oh, it's a double standard, James. If you let the speakers attack each other, like if they call each other a dummy or something or whatever, then, James, you're being a hypocrite because the chat can't, but the people in the actual debate can. And I would say it is a double standard, but there's actually a reason for the difference. So, I mean, just because you hold people to a different standard doesn't mean that it's hypocritical per se. It might be that you have a reason for holding them to a double standard. And my reason is that as of now, it's like, well, the debaters are like in the hot seat. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't really feel compelled to say that they can't do insults if they want. But let's see. Jamie Russell says, I will moderate Mark Reed versus Nephilim Free. That could be juicy. That might be, but I don't know. Let's see. Jamie Russell says you should have a specific list. Sometimes it's hard to not interpret when someone is saying what they're saying or mean. I get, quote, no personal attacks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of gray in this. We've entered a world that we have an area where we've never been in before, ever since last night. And but I do want to encourage you, keep in mind, you might be triggered. You might be like, James, your rules are too rigorous. I want to let you know, though, we're not saying you have to be nice to everybody. We're not saying that you can't say mean things about people. We're just saying that you can't do it for the guests. You can do it for me. Like, I don't care. I'm dead serious. Like, I've asked the mods, like, please, even if they call me an idiot or a loser, tool, whatever, like, I don't care. I'm like, it's a stranger on the internet. I don't care. Like, a lot of miserable people out there. So for me, it's like, take your best shot. I don't care. But we do want to respect the speakers, and like when when it gets to the extreme of like people calling people, like somebody called Matt a Nazi the other day. It's like, we're not going to do that. So that's like not okay. So, but yeah, thanks Cheryl for your kind words. Says, own it. It's your channel. And I mean, I like the way it's going. And so it's like, we'll play it by ear. Sometimes it's like, you got to feel it out, trial and error. And, we'll change the rules if we need to, but want to say thank you, everybody. We were excited as that 9/11 debate will be on Saturday. That should be juicy as well. And so do want to let you know, you guys, it's going to be epic. We really do appreciate you. We honestly are excited about the future. And so thank you guys so much. Oh, okay. The Shire Crier says, I know you don't care, but letting people attack you brings that energy into the channel, into the chat in general. Yeah, okay. I get, it could be that it's like kind of, I see what you're saying, where it's like kind of cultivating a channel of petty, insults. I do see what you're saying. There is something to that. Let's see. Alan H. said, I understand your point, but if you look at it another way, the speaker is broadcasting to everyone. They should be held to a higher standard. My opinion only, not everyone reads chat. Yeah, I mean, I can understand, like, they're broadcasting to everybody. I get what you're saying. It's not as much like, I don't think there's like harm coming from, I would hope, let's put it this way. If you come on as a speaker, you know that your opponent could be rude. I think that's more of like a given than the chat being rude to you. I think that people usually don't expect that as much. And OXD says, will controversial words being said demonetize the video? Some controversial words will, but most of them actually won't. So like last night's debate, surprisingly, didn't get demonetized. I was surprised. But yeah. Perfect One says, the speaker is only supposed to address their interlocutor's poor arguments, not their cheating behavior. The moderator is supposed to address cheating. This sounds like this sounds just like a naked assertion. I mean, this is just an assertion. Seriously, you got to give an argument for that. It's like, I actually would say that a good debater, I mean, well, first, you're not even defining what cheating is. It's so vague. I'm just like, this is like the least impressive chat I've seen in my life. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but it's like, you got to give me something better than that. Like, just cheating. Like, what does that even mean? Because if it, like, I would say, long story short, need to be a little bit more like concrete, because cheating is just like, what do you even mean? Brittle says speakers shouldn't be protected from criticism if what they're putting out is false, misleading, deceptive, hateful, etc. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think you could say that their claims are false. You could say their claims are misleading or deceptive. Now, I know that you're like, oh, or if they're hateful. I'm like, a lot of you guys think that it's like hateful to say like, I think some of you guys are, let's see, let me just say this again, just one of the most vague and weak like chats. It was just like, what does hateful mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, is it, you just mean like they hate the individual? Like, is that, or do you mean like they hate based on a protected group? That I could see, but like, it's just like, man, it's so vague. Jay Mixon says, could you read my last post? Inquiring minds would like to know. Didn't see that one. It's like if you guys are going to give constructive criticism, I know I seem a little defensive, but it's like, it's just like, I'm asking you for more description, like more descriptive terms. But let's see. That and I think sometimes it's just I do think it's cringe that sometimes people call things hate, where it's like they're using it as a club to silence people. And it's like, is this really hate? Like, and not only that, but do you hold like people to the same standard? So for example, everybody would say that if we named an ethnic group and you said, oh, this group is really dumb, everybody would be like, you're not going to let that fly, are you? And we'd be like, of course not. Now, at the same time, a lot of those people will say atheists are the dumbest people ever, or Christians are the dumbest people ever. And it's like, so you think it's okay to do that about a race-based group, but when it comes to a lack of religion or, lack of belief, atheism, whatever way you want to define atheism, when it comes to that or, Christian group, you're like, oh, okay, then I don't mind. It's like, honestly, so many people is just like, they're so unimpressive and their inconsistency is gross. It's perverse and how intellectually bankrupt and biased and naive they are. So I'm not saying that's about anybody here, but I'm saying that like that's out there. And to me, it's like, I do see it sometimes. So G Mixon, I'm so sorry. I did not see your last quote or your last post. Jamie Russell says, you're a good example and you're doing it right. Thanks for your kind words, Jamie. Appreciate that. Brooke Chavez says, what should we do about people in chat insulting other people in chat? We definitely should. I think it's a good idea to just say, hey, heads up, like you're being kind of abusive. And once we like warn them, and if they keep doing it, then I would say like, then I would say we should block them. But yeah, let's see. But let's see, just scanning through chat. Thanks for being here. We do appreciate you guys for real. And this is always just, it's like, I always do hanging out. I do enjoy hanging out with you guys. Thank you, Alan H, for your kind words. Said good debate. Have a good night. Thanks for that. Danny3648, thanks for being with us. Said very good, James. Totally agree. Thanks for your kind words. Let's see. Brittle says when people delegitimize, again, I don't even know what that means. Like it's kind of like denigrate. That's a clearer word, but delegitimize, I'm like, do you mean like if you question them? Like if people say like, oh, are you really an atheist? Because like secretly, I think deep down, that there's a God. Like, or are you really a Christian? Because I think you don't even believe your own arguments or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. But I would say, yeah, sometimes it's like, I'm just like, denigrate people for what they are instead of what they think. Brittle, we've already defined though, like I've already said that we are giving warnings and eventually, banning people if they are denigrating people for what they are. Let's see. Squatch Talk says, hate has no place in debate, all about fair discussion. Let's see. Thanks, Brittle, for your kind words about the after show. Richard Luongo, thanks for your feedback. Says James has seen all your debates and doing just fine. Don't listen to any of the negativity. Appreciate that, buddy. Seriously, it means a lot. And let's see. Yeah, Alan H says, what about Glober? If you call a person a Glober or a Flurf? I would like to think that people could like not be triggered by that, but where it's like, geez, are we really gonna like be that controlling on like cracking down on everything? I don't know. Let's see. Sunday Worship says, where was that evolution debate later tonight going to be hosted? On Standing for Truth's channel. And so let's see. Thanks. Manic Panda says, what about a rule to the debaters that they shouldn't look at the chat, and if they do, not to comment on chat? They're already talking to someone, they should ignore the chat. I do think it's true. We should clean up our act in terms of like, and by we I mean me. I should do a better job of taking leadership and making sure that people aren't trashing the debaters. But it's true that it is a little bit like, if a debater is in a debate and they're looking at the chat, it's like, I read a comment today where somebody was like, James, I hope you're not paying this person, because if they're looking at the chat during the debate, why are you paying them? Like, and that's like there's something to that, where it's like, people don't, it is kind of, if people are like reading the chat, it's like they're not taking the debate as serious as I think they could. Perfect One says there's a character limit, otherwise it devolves in name calling, cross accusations. Naked insults are not cheating until they carry the implication that the person's, you might want to, let's see, arguments should not be listened to because of the pejoratives. You get the idea? Oh, you mean like, you think poisoning the well, for example? Like, I think people would usually call that poisoning the well. I think a debater should call it out. I've seen debaters call it out before. I think it's up to the debater. We're a pretty like spontaneous channel. There's a lot on the debaters in terms of like, they have a lot of responsibility, because it's true. Like I'm not gonna call out fallacies and there are gray areas for fallacies, and so poisoning the well would be one of them too. And where it's like, I would suggest that the debaters call out poisoning the well. But yeah, I want to say thank you guys for your support. Seriously do appreciate it. Thanks for your feedback. I appreciate you guys like not being like super hurt when I'm like super, like when I challenge you for being more descriptive. We do appreciate that. Thank you guys for, I know I'm a little frank tonight. It's just, there's just, it was a long week. So I've been a little bit emotionally exhausted, to where that's why I'm, probably why I'm more frank tonight. But do want to mention, whether you're watching via Twitch or via YouTube, we are excited yes, we are on podcast. And so do want to say thanks for your investment into this channel, just in terms of giving us feedback and all that kind of stuff. Seriously, you guys do really, it means a lot. I do want your hand on the wheel of the channel, and that's why I do want to like read your feedback during these like post-credit shows here on Modern Day Debate. And so no worries about the poodle joke, Reservoir of Gore. Don't worry about that. I'm not mad or anything. So can you do a debate between Christian denominations? Maybe, but theology, I just don't, I don't know. I'm a little reluctant, just because I feel like a lot of the audience doesn't tune in, because a lot of the audience isn't into theology. Jane Casper says, we believe in you. Rest and be well. Thank you, Jane. Jamie Russell says, look for my email debate. Email tonight. Gotcha. I'm probably going to rest after this, but thank you. And then Jay Mixon says, beer on me, James. Keep your head up. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Seriously. That does really mean a lot, Jay Mixon. I do appreciate it. So thanks for being a friend. And so, but yeah, I do appreciate you guys. Seriously. Thank you so much for your kindness. And then Brooke Chavez says, the Twitch stream did well tonight. Thanks, Brooke, for letting me know that. That seriously is encouraging. I'm so glad to hear that. And yeah, we're excited about that. That's encouraging. And also, yeah, we're excited that the podcast has been growing. So if you love juicy debates and you love long form content, you guys, got to let you know our podcast is linked in the description. And you can, otherwise, I mean, even more directly, if you pull out your phone right now, I would say, hey, why not? Pull out your phone right now if you're not already on it, and look up your favorite podcast app, open it up, and find Modern Day Debate, as we are really excited that, yeah, I'm just so pumped, you guys. It's been super encouraging that the podcast is growing. and people are finding good use in it. So that's super encouraging. Genthelia Baggin says, thanks for the debate, James. Have a good night. Thank you, Genthelia. Seriously, it means a lot. Brittle says, it's really great interacting with you here because you're honest and genuine, and those are always attractive characteristics. Thanks, Brittle, for your kind words. It seriously does mean a lot. Thank you, especially for giving me grace when I'm a little bit more candid tonight, just because of that long week. When I say long week, I'm telling you guys, like, it's been one of the longer weeks I've had in, like, I don't know. I just don't know how long. So Robert Russell, thanks for your support, says, James, you are more than fair. Great job. Thank you, Robert Russell. Seriously, that is super encouraging. You have no idea how much that means to me, especially after that long week that I just mentioned. So seriously, thank you. And so, yeah. So thank you guys. I do appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And yeah, there are plenty of debates coming up. And so we are excited about those. I'm going to get those watch pages up soon because I know that I'm a little bit behind on that. Cameron Foster, thanks for hanging out with us as well. I think this is the first time I've seen you in one of our post-credit scenes during the live stream. So thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate that. And thanks, Dave James says, oh, amazing. Thanks for being with us, Dave. And Fox Sushi, thanks for your support of the channel. Thanks, JT6 Mania, for your being here with us. Thanks, Matthew Steele, for your kind words, buddy. Seriously, I love you, man. I just appreciated that one time when you said, James, be careful not to burn yourself out. I just appreciated you being there and saying that, because it's sometimes I've gotten close to burning out. And so thanks. Jay Mixon says, you should consider getting back in the ring as well. As an atheist, I found your old Lion's Den debate impressive and impactful. Thank you, Jay Mixon. Seriously, that's really kind. It just means a lot that you're willing to give kind words to a person from, a different, you could say, group. That for me is such a value for me as this channel, I hope. Thanks. Topot2 says, look after yourself, James. Thanks so much for your kind words and your support. Seriously, that means a lot. I will. I promise I will. And I would just say that I really hope that people, if they don't already have the ability to, they grow into having the ability to say, I disagree with this person completely, but we're still friends and we have no hard feelings. Like there's something valuable to that. And that's something that comes with practice, I think. And some of you already have that, I'm sure, like no doubt about it. You're like level-headed and you're not all like triggered by somebody who thinks that you're wrong. Like for me, I know there are people that think I'm wrong, and I'm like, I don't mind. Like if somebody showed up to my door and they're like, this religion is right, or these religions are wrong, or whatever, I'd be like, hey, like, want to come in for coffee and talk? Like, I'm just really like, yeah, it's like, but anyway, Reswat of Gore says, I'm sure the channel will grow organically. You have a steady hand on the wheel. I had a hard week too. Watching your content was welcome respite from the stress. Thank you so much for saying that. That encourages me. And to be honest, being here during these streams has been a huge help for me, because that's how bad my week has been in terms of like, I always enjoy these streams, but even more, I've needed them this week more than ever. They've just been fun and I enjoy it. So thank you. I'm in the same boat as you. In other words, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for that. Timo says, follow Modern Day Debate on Twitter to keep updated on coming events. We are on Twitter, folks. Yeah. So, that's right. We've never put that in the chat, so we should. That's something that helps too, is if you want to help the channel, sharing Modern Day Debate, like on social media, sharing our debates, retweeting our events, all of that stuff really does help. And so we do appreciate you doing that. And so I'm going to throw our Twitter link in the chat right now in case you are, if it's new to you, our Twitter. And so that is right now in the chat. And so thank you for that. And Michael Kahn says, you're one of the nicest YouTubers out there, James. Thank you so much, Michael. It seriously means a lot. Honestly, that's encouraging. Silver Harlow, thanks for being here, said, how to do a debate on the internet is a hard problem with no obvious solutions. You're doing what you can and trying to get better, which deserves respect. Good work, dude. Thanks, Silver Harlow, for your kind words. Seriously, that means a lot. I appreciate you, man. Thanks, brother. And then Bob Nodal's Gyroscope says, stay safe out there, my friend. Thank you for that. I appreciate it, friend. And that means a lot. And thank Brooke Chavez says, thank you, James, for all you do. We love you. Thank you. I love you too. I love you guys. Seriously, it really does mean a lot. You guys are super supportive, and I do appreciate that. And so, yeah, we are excited. And Thanks everybody for all of your support. I'm excited about the future, you guys. It's going to be awesome. We're excited. We're pumped about it. There's going to be a lot of great stuff. And so thank you. And Jay Mixon says, get some rest when you have a chance. Check your email. Have a great BH Israelite candidate for you. Thank you for letting me know about that. That sounds like a juicy one. And so thank you guys for everything. We do appreciate you. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. Take care, and I love you guys.